that's one thing about Andrew Tate. It's like his ego. Like we talk about ego being detrimental, but it's something that can also drive you so far forward.
He argues that he's a big thing about ego, and that his philosophy is like you need an ego, but I kind of tie it that you don't need an ego. You need to know God, and maybe he's changed for then. I don't know. I've not really spoken to him about Islam and that yet, to be honest. But
I'd say let's just start from there then.
Let's go.
Speaking about ego, because it's all context, isn't it? So like, ego in the context you put it in can be beneficial or detrimental. So you've got insecurities, and like that ego wants to protect those insecurities. That's detrimental. But then being fucking really driven towards your goal, you kind of need a little bit of an ego for that. Whereas, do you know what I mean? So it's like, I
suppose some people can see it like that, and a lot of successful people see it like that. A lot of my life just now is speaking about God.
Yeah.
Because I'm so grateful and so aware of the creative energy source that's brought me here, and I say this quite a lot. And I read a book when I was in prison, that kind of really amazing book. It was called The Secrets of the Divine Heart. I think I'll read it there. And it was just it was about Islam, but it was kind of showing you Islam in like a easier light for more people to listen to. It was an English book, someone gave me it. And in that book it said the ego is edging God out. And that stuck with me, man. Because choose one or the other. If there was a choice, choose one or the other, I'd 100% of the time choose God. And I'd 100% of the time tell everybody to choose God. But if you're not like, aware of what God is and you don't call it God or whatever, you might focus on your ego. But maybe my perception of what an ego is and somebody's perception of what God is totally different.
For sure.
We're all different. You know?
To you then, like when you say ego, obviously edging God out, I would really agree with that. Like I would agree that when your ego kicks in, you're definitely not in that love, in that like state of consciousness that you're connected to the best part of yourself. But I would say, to go back to kind of what Jack said, how ego can be used in a good way. Well, you say a good way, it's probably still fairly negative, but you think when you're younger, you've grew up with no money. I don't know if you've grew up with like kind of not a lot of money, but we've definitely not grew up with money, and we've got an ego that says, fuck that, I'm going to be a fucking multi-millionaire and have all the freedom that I didn't have. And that's our ego driving us towards the success and the greatness.
I suppose it's your circumstances that have conditioned you to want to change.
Yeah.
But your circumstances have been brought upon you by God as well, so you need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
If you think about that, think about your station in life just now has been brought to you by what's happened in your universe and in your existence. That for me is God. I think that's God. I appreciate that you're here because God's put you through that situation when you never had money, and now you're searching for money. So if you attribute that to God rather than it's my ego, I'm going to do this, it's a bit more grateful. It's a bit more humility, more purposeful, more humility, more purposeful.
Yeah, I would align more with that 100%.
Rather than just saying it's me, I'm doing this.
You're right.
This is my will. My will is going to make this fucking happen.
Yeah.
Rather than can align yourself with the will of the Creator, I think. And when I align myself with the will of the Creator, my life's fantastic.
Yeah.
My life's really good. But when I was just willing things, because I'm a really willful person. I'm a really willful person because I've had a lot of success in my life. And I've got through a lot of stuff. So like a few years ago, I would have thought, that's me. That's because I'm a willful person. That's because I'm strong-minded. No, that's God making me be like that. So I think, in my opinion, in my wee soul or whatever, I just prefer that.
No, I actually align with that a lot more. Especially because of the negative connotations we all kind of assign to ego. Like I feel like ego is like, it determines your kind of self-esteem and your levels of like self-importance. But at what point is that actually not a good thing, that we think we're more important than we should be? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like God, like giving yourself to. So would you say in some way you've like surrendered to God? How do you see it, and how did you adapt religion into your life? And do you remember when you were like, wee Brian, not religious, to like fucking religious Brian?
Oh,
what was the transition?
I'll go deep with this then. I think when you're born, when we're all born, we're aware of God. We're aware of something. Even though we don't know what awareness is at that age, we're aware of something. And we can't obviously comprehend it at that point in time. And I was blessed to go to a Catholic school, and the Catholic education taught me what God was, actually in a religious kind of setup.
Yep.
And I'm forever grateful for that. Because I did pray all my life, and I was Catholic, and all that stuff is fantastic. But then, I don't know, just I remember like being religious, and then I was in a kind of circle or in the world where I was fighting and stuff like that, and a lot of people were atheists and stuff like that. It's just a point in my life, maybe 16, no, maybe like 16 years ago or whatever, and it made me think, should I believe in God? Should I be a Christian? And am I wrong? And just going through the path to discovery of my soul and my spirit. And then I went through so many different ways for meaning, searching for so many different ways for meaning. I studied, I read The Secret, which is like wishy-washy, but it's got some fantastic stuff in it. Like the law of attraction, stuff like that. But the start of it is a quote from the Emerald Tablet. And it's probably a great marketing ploy for the person that wrote it, Rhonda Byrne, but I searched what the Emerald Tablet was. And it's this ancient book about alchemy and how you can transform yourself. And to be honest with you, there's a part of that in every part of religion as well. But then that discovery led me on to other things like Thelema, which is like Aleister Crowley's religion that he set up. And Aleister Crowley's a mad motherfucker. If you don't know about him, Google him. He was into like dark magic and black magic and sacrifices and this kind of shit. And then I decided, no, I'm not really into that. And then path of discovery led me on. And I was in Thailand fighting around about this time.
What age were you? Was it like 22-ish, 21, 22?
22 odd, like that, yeah.
And then what age going into Thailand?
22 was in Thailand,
22.
Right? So in the south of Thailand, I was in Phuket, and Islam has came all across that area. Funny, somebody told me the other day, Islam's kind of travelled basically where the Silk Road was. The Silk Road was a route of trade and trade and discovery through the world, and the ideas get traded through there. And I think they're great ideas, so obviously that's why it spread. So Thailand started in Saudi Arabia, Mecca, and then came to places like Thailand, which I think is fantastic. So anyway, I was in the south of Thailand. In Scotland, I wasn't really surrounded by any Muslims, maybe a few in school, and appreciated it, learned a bit in school, but didn't really know a lot about it. And I seen that, and I seen something. I was a young, immature kid. And then somebody I was in Thailand with recommended a book, Shantaram. Have you ever heard of the book Shantaram?
No. So
it's like a fiction book. It's about a guy that escapes prison in Australia, goes to India, travels through India, and it's a fiction book, but it's more about the philosophies that he's learned in his life. And one of them, and I'm talking about one of them, really stuck me, one point in it. So he's speaking to a Muslim kind of boss, a kind of gangster guy that runs a lot of part of India, and they're sitting down and in a kind of wee shisha lounge or something like that. And the guy says to him, everything in this world follows the complexity of God. So if you follow the complexity of God, you're aligning with the plan of God, which is evolution and planning and creating a better world or whatever it may be. So when you go with that, you're living a good life. And if you go against that, you're going against the complexity of God, you're going against God's plan, and you're actually living a bad life. So for instance, let's say you stole from someone in a shop, a little guy that has a shop. That bad deed, that bad thing that you do is going to maybe make that guy lose money and maybe can't afford his family. And then it's just a bad thing, do you understand? So always try and aim to be good. And I think that's the complexity of God. And I never really thought more about it apart from that book. And then I travelled through my life a wee bit. When I got to 7 years ago, so 31, I was spiritually lost. I was doing things that, illegal things, and just chasing money and really, really ego driven, which is a great idea, I think, that, right? And I felt like my wife was a great point, because I felt like my wife, and I felt the family dynamic was kind of losing its grip on me, because I had 2 kids and it was all dissipating, which happens to a lot of people in Scotland. And I think a lot of people in the UK, in the Western world, in Scotland, whatever, are losing their faith. I seen a thing that in Scotland it's 50%, 54% faithless. And I think when I was a kid, it wasn't 54% faithless. I remember there's more religion in the world, right? So a lot of people don't like religion, but religion is just a moral backbone. It's just a guide. It's the best. A religion is the ultimate self-development course. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So anyway, walked into the mosque, and don't know any Muslims. Maybe God made me do it. And I sat and spoke to these guys, and they had thobes on and big beards, and I'm quite a adventurous guy. Sat and had tea with a guy, the imam, spoke to him for 3 hours, and he said some things in the first 10 minutes that just changed my life.
Do you remember what he said?
Like, there's one creator, and if you align yourself with that one creator, you're doing what's purposeful to you. So I'd always believed that I don't want, like, one of my things as well, I'd never want to speak bad about any religion. I love and respect every religion, because belief is a given right relative to each individual. So each person's beliefs is magical and spiritual and beautiful and part of the world, and everybody's going to have opposing beliefs. But he told me that, and I actually thought to myself that all my life I'd really only kind of believed in that one energy source. I don't want to say any more than that. That's what I'm going to say on that. So I continued going to the mosque every day, just cups of tea and wee biscuits and talking and that. And then I took my shahada, and I was really strong.
What's that? What's the shahada?
The shahada is when it's your testimony of faith.
Okay.
So I say my shahada, just whatever it is, a wee small sentence, it means that you're actually a Muslim, because if you believe in that, you're actually a Muslim. It's a very easy way to become a Muslim. And I was super strong for years. But I was doing bad things, and that was a wee imposing kind of part of my problem. But the strength of like praying 5 times a day, waking up in the morning, man, putting my head in the ground and giving gratitude to the fact that I'm here with the creative energy source. I'm saying, listen, thank you for bringing me here, man. So grateful. That is a superpower, man. And then you do it 4, 5, 6 in the morning, whatever time you're meant to do it. And then you become a wee bit spiritually, like, the devil comes and gets you and stuff like that. So you do it again in the afternoon, and then it happens again. You need to do it again, and then you do it again just as the sun's going down. Then you do it again at night, just before you go to bed. Like, it's like a spiritual cleansing every time. 2 minutes, man, 5 minutes. It's really changed my life. So anyway, I continued that, but because I never had a community of Muslims around about me, and I was doing bad things, and my soul was just hurting, I thought my ego was better than God. I thought my ego was better than this religion. I thought, I can do this myself. I'm an intelligent guy. And every time I done that, boom, my life went to shit. Like, really went to shit. Right? Like, really went to shit. So I'd never been a drinker, I'd never been a drug taker, really. Like, do you know what I mean? I wasn't really into that. But the times I spiritually left Islam, I spiritually kind of always believed in it, but I wasn't practicing it.
Disconnected.
The times I disconnected and wasn't practicing is when I would take more drugs. Because it was as if I knew the answer for me, and when I hid for the answer and went ego driven, I had to like poison myself with drinking drugs because I was hurting so bad. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Saying things to people, hurting people, hitting people, all this bad shit that I'm doing. Even worse, it was coming out of me worse. And then I went to Portugal with my family, and I had this amazing life. I was praying then, like, really good for a few years, really focused. And that's what I'm saying. Like, every time I'd pray and focus 100%, go all in, put all my chips in Islam, or religion, or God, whatever you want to say, I was like successful. So it was successful. So, like, given the market research that I done on this thing, it works. You know what I mean? It works.
Yeah. And then, like, you say, like, say God isn't real. The belief in God being real is just as powerful as him literally being real in any way. And we know God is real. We all know in this room that God is real. But my point is that if you give power to a belief as deep as that, as big as that, or maybe not as big because you don't want to give importance too much, but like, that is powerful enough to keep you on a straight and narrow path and act in a righteous way. I don't know if you know a guy, something Can. I think he interviewed a couple of times. Like, he's like a baldy kind of. He says he's Muslim, and he basically said if he didn't devote his life to Islam, he'd be such a dangerous, horrible guy doing all these horrible things. And he said the only thing that keeps him on the straight and narrow is Islam. So that is such an important thing to think about. Like, me and Kyle obviously introducing me more into laws of the universe and really digging into consciousness from that perspective. And as you said, it's like, in any way you can connect to consciousness and the kind of divine energy, like, it's as powerful as going through religion, anything like that.
Of course. And there's multiple ways of doing it, man. Like, the Christianity is a way of doing it. It's a fantastic way of doing it. And I'm not saying like my way's better. Just, I can't really say that, because there's billions of Christians in the world that are having a very good life. Just for me, Brian Hyslop, the guy that you're looking at, it works for me, and it works for another 2 billion Muslims. But there's people that are just spiritual, and it works for them, and it's basically the same fucking thing. Yeah, it's no different.
It's important to understand and almost identify that you get what you choose. Let's see, we're thinking about, obviously, if we remove afterlives or previous lives right now, we speak about the life that we've got right now. you get what you choose. So if you want to be in Islam and you follow the rules of the book and that teaches you, that's the life that you're going to live. That's the reality you're going to create. If you do the same with Christianity, same thing. If you do the same thing with the ancient Hermetic philosophies, you're going to get that same thing. It's like you get what you choose in life. So when people are in parks and they're like, Christianity's this, Islam's that, like, it's all the same thing and you're all right in your own way. And that's why Islam has stood the test of time and still is a thing. That's why Christianity still is something that people believe in. That's why the laws of the universe and ancient Hermetic philosophies are still a thing that people believe in, is because it's all right and you get what you choose. So that's a really important thing to understand. And actually, I was reading a book called Reality Transurfing. If you want to read the GOAT book,
I've actually downloaded that.
That's
Somebody
a billionaire book.
recommended that. Yeah,
that's a billionaire book. If you read that book, it's all about, well, it's reality creation in this life, and it kind of removes afterlives, it removes previous lives, but it allows you to really understand how to create your reality right now.
Beautiful.
And it's, again, when you talk about lofty terms of vibrations and all these kind of things, that's how this shit really works. Like,
it does, man.
Honestly, that's how you create your reality.
It does. I'm going to touch on 2 points there. There's what you said. So I do believe in an afterlife. Right?
Does that came from Islam, or is that came from?
It came from Christianity as well. It's the same thing, but the way that Islam's taught me is, like, I just understand it a little bit more. So one of the most foundational quotes from the Quran is what made me a Muslim. This is a quote that made me a Muslim. We come from Allah, we come from God, and we will return to God. That, for me, is what life is about, because I'm not going to only try and build an empire in this world. I've got more importance in trying to build an empire in the afterlife for my good deeds in this world. I think that's why I'm in this world. It's not about me, like, having 10 million in Bugattis and Lambos and having, like, all this wealth and power. I think that's insignificant to me. Being a good man, a charitable man, helping people and
100%.
living purposefully, so that when I pass on and I meet my creator, he can say, you did do okay. You done a lot of mistakes, but you did do what you were set out to kind of do eventually. And that's what I'm striving for every day. So I want my empire in the afterlife far more than I want it here. And the guys in the parks that have got YouTube channels and they're arguing about their religion, it does spread a message in a way, but not a good way, bad way. It's like
Creates conflict,
man. It's like two cousins, two brothers with, like, the same idea, just a little tiny bit different. They are trying to show their belief, their superiority in belief, and it's putting people off what they're setting out to do. I think
you talk about ego as well.
Very ego driven.
It's fucking ego.
It's for clout. It's like religious clout, and I don't really like that. There is some guys that spread the gospel, and I love them. I think they're amazing because they're just in it for the pure heart and giving the message out. Same with dawas. With dawas, when you give people the understanding of Islam, it helps me. I watched guys on YouTube about Islam. Do you know what I mean? The guys in the park arguing and stuff like that, it's like a gang fight to me. I understand that on that level. It's just a fight, and I don't really like it.
I think if you understand that we're all one, so the kind of terminology that I use is like, we are all consciousness, and, like, consciousness is everything. And, like, I said to one of my friends, like, I am God, and he was like, you're God, what are you talking about? But, like, God is everything, consciousness is everything, we are consciousness, and that's what I mean by, like, I am God. It's not I am the God that everyone looks up to. It's more so I am a part of this bigger thing. And if everything is consciousness and I am consciousness, then I am consciousness. And that's the kind of thing that that's the way that I tend to look at it. And from the books that I've read recently, that's kind of how I see it. And when people are arguing in parks or whatever it is, we're all made of the same matter, the same consciousness. We're just arranged in slightly different ways. So you get like two pieces of steel. One piece of steel is magnetized, the other is demagnetized. The only difference between those two pieces of steel is the molecules and how they're arranged. So, like, one's arranged in a way to be magnetized, the other one's arranged to be demagnetized. We're all the same steel. We're all the same consciousness. We're just arranged slightly differently. So when people are arguing in parks, or if you're judging someone else, you're judging yourself. Because if you were them, you'd be the exact same. If you had their life, their experiences, their beliefs based on what they've went through, you would be the exact same as them, because we all start with the same thing, consciousness. And that's where people are fucking arguing, we are one. Like, we are actually all the same.
They're arguing they can't empathise with other human beings. That's a very bad trait, that. They've not got compassion. I think I'm quite a compassionate, empathetic person. So if I see someone practising a different religion for me, I know what I went through to practice mine. I need to love and respect that, and I do.
Yeah.
I need to, because everybody's got a given right to believe what they want to believe. So you said you are God.
Yeah, you didn't like that. I seen that.
No, I don't dislike it, but I want to say a wee point on it. because I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. You're part of God, or God's part of you, right? But do you believe beyond that there's been a creation point, someone's created you, or do you believe you created yourself? Or you created this universe?
No, like I surrender to like consciousness and God. Like, I believe that we're all part of the same
Right,
thing.
we're friends now.
Yeah. So it's like I'm not saying I am God, I am the creator.
Nah,
That's where my friend took me wrong as well.
Yeah,
He's
I
like, bro,
understand.
fuck you talking about I'm God. No, like everything is consciousness.
Yeah.
We are consciousness. The cause and the effect is all the same. It's all consciousness. So if it's all consciousness and we are consciousness and consciousness is God, I am God.
No, it's I understand what you said. I'm just saying that.
I'm glad you rethinked it, because a lot of people watch it be like, this guy thinks he's God, but no, it's
God's part of you and created you, and you're part of that.
well, God,
thing.
Consciousness, universe, like
God,
we are.
it's the same. It's all the same. It's different words for the same thing. But
yeah,
the part of the thing in Islam is, for me, know that I want anybody else to think this is just how I think. That I need to give honour and respect and love and gratitude to the fact that there is a greater source that's brought me here. So I can't be. I'm not that guy. I'm not that thing. I'm not that energy. But I'm in a wee way because I'm part of it, because we're all molecules and all the earth is.
in what way are you not?
I'm not what? Sorry.
So let's say you said there's like a greater, like a higher power above you.
So if there's a higher power above me, which I call God, or Allah or God, I need to be aware of my insignificance in this universe, purely because that is what's created me. I'm not that. I never created. I don't know how to create a world. I don't know how to create a religion. I don't know how to. I don't know how to create people and lives and hearts, and I don't know how to make my own heartbeat. It happens through God, and I need to give love and respect and gratitude to that. So I've got the disconnect between I'm not that.
Are you made up of the same thing that's made up of?
I don't know. I've never spoke to that. I can't comprehend that. I don't know what that is. I just believe that I believe that I've been created. I believe that my father was created. I believe that my mother was created. I believe that in a microcosm of that, they created me on a human physical level. But in a greater, bigger deal, I believe there was a bigger creation energy than all that created all of us. And all
it's beyond physical.
It's beyond comprehension. For
sure.
But I need to wake up every day and give thanks to that, rather than believe that I am only that, because I'm not.
Well, the way that I say it is just how my tiny human brain conceptualizes it.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah. I'm not fucking like.
And I'm not arguing with you saying that you're wrong. I'm just having a debate.
I love it. That's good. Would you say that? See, with religion as well. Like again, I've not really I've been reading books like really in depthly for the last few months, and I've for years really done podcasts and stuff like that. So I'd love to come back to this in a year's time and have this similar conversation, because I'll be so much more clued up. But I do see religion as, again, they're all the same stories. It's just an easy way to conceptualize what is happening, what the world is, and people that you've got these books, these scriptures, and it's a Bible and it's a Quran. None of them are wrong, because they're all telling you the same thing, and they're all said in different ways, because different people can conceptualize it in different ways. And that's why some people really, it rings true to them. Islam, Christianity, the laws of the Hermetics, the ancient philosophies that come from Egypt, I align more with that, and I think all that kind of makes a little bit more sense to my brain. But it's all the same fucking story, and you get what you choose. Going back to that point, it's like if you're Islamic, and is that what you say?
I'm a Muslim.
Muslim, yeah.
A Muslim is someone that surrenders their will to the will of God. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. That is what a Muslim is. A Muslim is someone who surrenders their will to the will of God. And
that's what you do with consciousness. That's what you do with the Christian God. It's the same kind of thing. And we will live a very similar life. We'll probably drive similar cars. We'll have similar values. We'll be around similar people. It's all the same thing.
Beautiful. I actually read the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the Hindu texts. Amazing book, man. But so I read an introduction, a fantastic introduction, then I read the book. And if I just read the book without introduction, it's like different gods and different energies and etc. And this goes on that point. But when I read the translation before it, the author said, really, we're just talking about the same God. We're just talking about different characteristics of that God. And that's how people in India would have been able to comprehend it at that time, because they never had YouTube and they never had internet. That's just a way of comprehension for that same message. A lot of Muslims would argue with that they're wrong. They're right for their own rightness, I think. And I believe and I love and respect that. I love and respect everybody, even atheists. We're all the fucking same. I'm just going through my wee path, and I don't want to force nothing on nobody.
100%.
Maybe in the past I would force other things on, not religion, but I was quite a strong-minded guy, and I was dominant, maybe even Machiavellian in the way that I done business. And I thought that was right. I thought it was like, might is right, and you've got you're yourself, and you need to go and work, and then I was away from God then.
Ego,
Man. And as I said, I've seen the dip. And I'm not just saying I seen the dip and had a wee bottle of beer and I was fucked. No, I was addicted to drink for a few years. I was addicted to coke, man. I was partying too much. I wasn't really spending time in love and gratitude to my beautiful wife, my beautiful family who were getting raised. And then I ended up in prison for fucking trying to make money. And then, see, even saying that, I feel sick of myself. I was out of shape, spiritually out of shape, physically out of shape, mentally out of shape. And people on my social media and my coaching programs and stuff like that, they maybe don't really see that story. And I don't really say that story too much. That's the first I actually really said that. I'm trying to help people not go through what I went through. It's not about Islam. Like, Islam is what my basis and everything is. Like, if I'm teaching people how to fight, I'm going to teach them on the basis of Islam in some way. But I want people to know that there is these things. There is mental fortitude. There is physical strength, and testing yourself in physical strength is such a... You guys are very fit guys and teach people about fitness. How other than fitness does that apply to every part of their life?
exactly.
Their business, their mindset, their relationships, their family, being a peer, being a leader. But people who are unfit go, I'm not going to go to the gym today. That's fucking bullshit. No, it's no just about that. It all connects together.
Yeah, it's about
Fitness,
the discipline,
mindset,
everything.
spirituality, being a good family man, being a hustler and making money and but also being charitable and helping the world as well with whatever you get with your earnings. It's not just about you. That's another thing as well. Charities are really important. They're really, really super important. Don't just always take. I'm going to say a point about you two guys, in fact. So my social media, everybody comes on and sends me their life story. I see your post. I'm going through these addictions and that kind of stuff. And I say to them, right, cool. So obviously they want free value. They want me to help them for free. And it's obviously my job to help them, but I need to get paid for it. But I will help them for free. I do help them for free.
Yeah.
But I also get kind of some influencer guys, kind of someone like yourself. They come on and social media kind of personalities. And they come on and they're like, yeah, Brian, we should connect and we should do this. And a few of them come on and I give them what I say and I give them advice. And this is how I do this on Instagram. I give everybody free advice. And I've had a few guys, a guy recently, for instance, he's came on, took my free advice, and I says, we should get a meeting together, we'll do this, we'll do a mastermind. I said this to you guys as well. And then he's fucking offered to sell me one of his products, and I'll give you it for a discount, and I'll do this. Not even one single value exchange from him. But you guys were offering me to go and get free sports therapy.
Yeah.
You never even said, I'll give you a discount. You said, I'll do that for free. That's a free value exchange. I don't even know you. You guys are strangers. You've invited me on your podcast. Although this is obviously we're going to earn through attention some way with this.
Yeah. Both
of us, we're going to share. But it's actually, you're helping me for free, not took a penny off me. And you're the type of guys that I would invest in. I'd give money to you guys right away. Even if you're conscious, you'd help me with that free session. That's doing that for me, do you understand?
Yeah.
So charity, your charitable thing that you said to me is going to magnify so much more. So think of that on a smaller level. If you see somebody homeless in the street, give them a bit of money, man. Or create a charity, help some young kids, or it comes back to you a millionfold.
100%. Comes back to you.
Goodwill.
100%. I always tip, and it's not for any selfish reason other than I just feel good doing it. And maybe that is selfish, but I think it's more the active selflessness, the byproduct of that is just feeling good. I don't do it with the intention to, I'm going to feel good, I'm going to make my dick feel bigger by tipping. I generally there's a feeling of good energy that's exchanged within doing that. Every single place I go, I fucking tip. The on-house session, I don't know, even knowing that you'd come in, getting to connect to you, the conversation, that'd be enough for me to fucking treat you for free forever. Do you know what I mean? So it's but yeah, you're so right. You need to be aware when not to just take value. Obviously, I've learned through our research and understanding business that you need to understand that the business is a value exchange. So you need to make sure that you're exchanging value. It's not just fucking taking exchange.
Everything's a value exchange.
Life is, yeah.
Your partner, it's a value exchange. I need to give her protection and authority and love, and she gives me back comfort and maternal things for my children and beautiful love for me. That's a value exchange. No money's really given. There's a wee bit with my wife, but
few holidays in that.
It's Everything's a value exchange. My
100%.
friends, I give them like, my support as a great friend, and they give me their support. If you kind of think it that way, like, it's not just all about money. Money's energy. Money's just paper or computer on a computer screen numbers. You know what I mean? In Islam, is quite cool. In fact, they say that money's not yours. You need to spend in the way of God. So if there's a homeless guy in the street and I give him £100, it's not my £100 to give him, it's God's £100, and he needs that. He needs that more than me. I'm just giving him his own money. Or at charity, after Ramadan, you need to give to charity. It's part of it's like an obligation, which I think is beautiful. It's no my money I'm giving away, it's their money they're just receiving finally from a guy that's giving it to them.
I love that. That's sick. Would you say that you have like an intuitive feeling to give it to that specific guy that you see in the street? Like, do you get this kind of, because like the chances of your lifelines crossing at that moment where you see him, he sees you, you give him the money, the chances are fucking like
serendipity. If I give him at that given moment, I was obviously ordained to give him that at that given moment, because that's what like my creator has provided for me and him at that time. Serendipity.
Yeah.
And I do give a lot, and I just said, like, if I give something I get 100-fold back. I don't do it for that fact. I just
no, that is just what happens though.
That's what happens.
Yeah, things come back
That's
to you
what
like a
happens in my
boomerang.
experience.
100%.
And I'm really charitable, so I do this thing. It's not really charitable, but on a Saturday night, everybody goes out in parties in Scotland. It's like a big thing. And I came over from Spain after that situation, living in Europe for the last 5 years, in fact. And I wanted to train on a Sunday. Nobody would come and join me at the gym. So I created this kind of Sunday club. I just done a few posts on it. Don't go and take drugs, and don't go and drink on a Saturday night. Sunday morning, we're going to get together, go a hill walk, go a cold dip. And I was actually just wanting pals, because none of my pals were doing it. Wanted to go up the hills and stuff like that. I ended up with a big group of people. And some older guys in that, some guys are really heavily addicted to drugs, and it's cleaned them up more than you. I'm even shocked how much it's cleaned them up. Coming in, they've got better relationships with their families and their kids, and making more money and that kind of stuff. I'm not saying I've created that. It's just the whole consciousness or whatever we've got to say it. It's created that for us all. It's a great environment, you know.
Yeah, 100%, 110%. See that as well though. I feel like anytime someone isn't living the perfect balance with the health, the wealth, the happiness, the peace, the love, the joy, when they've not got that, they're in a position where they're not connected to God. That they're completely disconnected in their ego, or something's telling them that this happened. And what I wanted to kind of touch on earlier when I was thinking about this, because I was reading a book called Mastery by George Leonard, right? And there's a chapter in that, and it's not the Robert Greene one, it's another wee one that I done a call last night with my clients. And a chapter in that is America's War Against Mastery. And obviously what it speaks about is the fact that we've got a world of short-term gratification. We've got a world of adverts that, like a Carlsberg advert will have a guy cutting grass for fucking 5 seconds, and then 30 seconds they're all clinking beers together. So that you're trained at rewards, and this, what it shows you is this kind of this endless dopamine like upward spiral. It's like called what's it called? But it's essentially like the endless reward path, right? And we all think that in our lives, if we're not seeing results, we're fucking it and we're failing, right? And we're trained to believe that we'll get result after result after result. And in life, people don't get that. Like we are trained, we're literally designed, the world that we live in is designed to fuck us and put us off the path of mastery, patience, like sticking to something for long enough. And when people are in this position where they're not connected and they're in this kind of ego headspace, it's because they're not really seeing anything in their life that are giving them the results, and they're completely disconnected from God. And the world that we live in is set up to fuck us up. It's like set to...
That's a very interesting point.
Pull us off
That's
track.
a very interesting point. I like that. See the book Transurfing that you said?
Reality Transurfing.
Transurfing. A guy, I was in Spain getting my car fixed, and I had to stay in this week in a hotel, and it was like a lot of people in a hotel, like a hostel kind of thing, like a hotel. And there was this wee Romanian kid, and he was a bit kind of down in his luck, and I was a bit down in his luck, and he was really talking away to me, because everybody was Spanish, I didn't really learn Spanish that time. And he recommended that book to me, but he also said to me, I said to him, like, I'm kind of low now, I'm kind of needing help, I had nobody to talk to. And he said, Brian, in the low times, all we do is look for the high times. But funny enough, in the high times, we also try and go back to the low times. Because in the high times, when money's abound and everything's all great and all that, sometimes when you're low and some of that things, it's the most spiritual, beautiful time of your life. You need to go and love, you need to love the lows as well. Like, I was quite a bad, I nearly died as well. I got stabbed to fucking nearly died. And I can always remember that time. It was a beautiful time. That time in prison to those times in life were a genesis, a regeneration of me creating a better life. And I actually love daytimes. I really, really love them. I can't just always go up. I'm in a very great upward spiral now, man. Like, I just got offered 2 amazing fights. I'm a 30-year-old fucking ex-drug addict, in jail fighter. Like, I'm fighting in Australia at the end of this month, getting paid good money. And I'm fighting, I think, maybe in Cage Warriors, one of the biggest shows in fucking world.
Come on. What, April? In Braehead?
Braehead, yeah.
Jeez,
And I fought in PFL.
That's amazing.
After, like, and maybe people in the MMA community go, why is he getting all these opportunities? But I'm a good man, and like,
you're attracting these things, though.
I'm attracting them, but people are attracting me because like, they're seeing how good I am. Like, for instance, a lot of these fights that are coming to me are guys that I know in the MMA community. Maybe they felt a bit sorry for me at first, I don't know, but they maybe see that they're helping me. But that's charitable as well. And it's like, for me, it's beautiful because like, I'm a well-respected guy in every form of life. And especially in MMA, I don't know if you know, guys know MMA in Scotland too much. There's like a kind of gang mentality. Like, certain gyms don't like certain people.
Yeah,
and all that
yeah,
kind of shit.
I feel that.
But I went through that as a kid. I went through real gang mentality in the street kind of level, the real stuff. So I don't really fight with people in gyms. I don't give a fuck. It's just a sport. But I'm pal with everybody in all different gyms, and it's cool because I get more of a value exchange by training with certain different people. Maybe some people in gyms think I'm like should be part of teams and that. But
people look down on that, don't they?
They do.
It's fucking crazy. That's ego again.
Ego. But anyway, these guys for all different gyms are all just throwing me stuff and gym opportunities and coaching, and like, I can't. Beautiful, man. God willed it.
The way that Transurfing speaks about it, I know this is going to be lofty for some people, but you can go and read the book and research it, but it speaks about there's an alternatives model, right? And it's like you've got an infinite amount of lifelines that you can experience in your life. And you essentially tap into these different lifelines with the different thought, energy, the emotions that you put out. That will send out a frequency, and the frequency that sends out. So if you're angry, it will send out a certain frequency. If you're full of love, it will send out a certain frequency. And that frequency, that vibration will align with the resonance frequency of the lifeline that it aligns with. So
that's beautiful. That's a great book, man. I want to read that.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. But it's the way that you've done this now. So the words that you said there, you were like, I'm getting these opportunities, and I'm an ex-criminal. I'm this. Like, you're getting these opportunities because of who you are now, and you've now aligned your thought, energy, your emotions with the lifeline of Brian that gets 2 fights, 2 good fights, opportunities, networking opportunities. You've now aligned your thought, energy, and your emotions and your frequency with the lifeline that has those events in it.
Of course.
And it's not it's not by chance. You're creating this.
And obviously, I'm correlating that with prayer because I'm praying for these things as well.
But that's you aligning your vibration, your frequency in that text. Yeah.
A funny thing on that as well, like, for instance, say drug dealing, for instance, right? Not that I've getting a bad against drug dealers and that, but ultimately, selling drugs is hurting people's lives. We need to admit it, it's hurting people's lives.
Low frequency.
Right? It's very low frequency. So, for instance, you're a drug dealer and you sell a drug to a young kid, and that young kid's going through some terrible stuff by taking those drugs. His mother, or his partner, or his wife is going to be praying that he becomes healthy positively, but that prayer is going to negatively affect that drug dealer. That's why a lot of drug dealers don't find success, and nobody's really aware of that. There's going to be some form out there that's going to be really wishing on their downfall because it's hurting people that they love. People really need to take an account for prayer. Prayer's the most powerful thing in the world. I'm calling it prayer the way I pray. I put my head in the ground.
That's how you conceptualize
millions of different ways of prayer. The way you just said.
Yeah.
And there is the negative and the positive of it. Mm-hmm. And like the evil eye you were speaking about earlier on with me in the car, like, that's all based on like jealousy and like hate,
envy,
and we can safeguard it by trying to be spiritually aligned, but also safeguard it by not doing stuff that brings that in. Mm-hmm. Like, don't show your wealth too much, because what's it going to do? Is it going to get you like a wee ego drive? Is it going to maybe get you more like opportunities and through networking? That's a great idea, right? Cool. But it can also attract bad, negative, evil eyes, like a kind of Middle Eastern philosophy, but we'll just call it energy. Like, it's going to attract a lot of bad stuff in your life as well. Yeah. So don't be too keen to overgloat and overshow, because it can be negative to you. Yeah.
Well, you see Andrew Tate, like talking about him getting jailed and all those kind of things. Yeah, you can say it's the elites, but he's attracted that. Like, how many millions of people in this world have been sending him the fucking, I hate him, man. Like, really, like, with so much intent. And if we understand energy and how things work, and like, again, so lofty, people aren't going to even get this, but because 99.6% of our reality is unseen, that means that there's more to play, and there's more, our life is impacted more by what we can't see. The energy, right? And then when we send energies out, it's fucking more powerful than most people give it credit for. And that's when someone sends someone a fucking bad thought or a bad energy. Will that come back to the person that sent it? Yes, because things come back to you like a boomerang. It'll fuck them in their life. They'll get a screw in their tire, or like they'll fucking break their leg or something. Something bad will happen. But it does definitely affect the person they send it to, 100%.
Of course. But you can guard yourself from it, I think. You can guard yourself from it. Actually, Andrew Tate's a great example of this. I remember watching a video, he's in the back of a car, and his content's amazing, right? And he's saying, Tate, hate. Everybody hates me, Tate. And he says, I just feed off that energy. And he transforms it, into good, positive, successful energy.
Yeah.
And that's a really good way of thinking that as well. But people are going to hate, but they're wrong for always hating. You can't be a jealous person. No. I'm not jealous, I'm jealous of nobody.
No.
If somebody's jealous of me, hate, if I don't allow myself to be succumb to that hate and that negative energy, evil eye, and I do transform it and give myself the protection of God, the armour of God, or whatever you want to call it, I can convert that into positive energy. Okay, hate me if you want, I'm going to do well. Or I get so many people on my Instagram commenting all sorts of shit. Like, you're fucking tiny, you can't fight, you've got fake teeth, or you fucking whatever. And I just enjoy it. I write back, fuck you, like just funny things, you know what I mean? Like,
again, love you.
Fuck you.
Not to like speak about this full fucking book, right? But again, in the book, it speaks about pendulums, right? And someone commenting on your thing as a negative thing, right? That could be classed as a pendulum that's going to steal your energy, but it will only steal your energy if you align your thought, energy, your frequency, your emotions with that thing. So if you get annoyed with it, that's going to steal your energy and fuck it away. But what you'll do is you'll positively reframe it, make a joke out of it.
Reframe.
Yeah, and it will stop that from affecting you. So that's how Tate does it, is that pendulum comes in, millions of people hating him, he'll reframe it positively, consciously, either laugh about it or maybe send them love back, and the pendulum doesn't steal his energy, and he stays in control.
Best translation and best explanation of that we could ever have. That's fantastic. That's an amazing explanation of that.
For sure. Read Reality Transurfing if you want to change your life.
It's getting. Are you going commission for that book?
No, you only read like the first fucking. I've read like 6 chapters in it, but the first 6 chapters give you a really good idea. And when you're reading like the Kabbalion as well, the Hermetic philosophies, this is what I'm saying. I think it's a lot. It goes back further than religion, and I'm not saying religion's irrelevant.
No,
but
it does go back further.
It goes back further. Like religion has been made to make these things more conceptualized. The ancient philosophies from Egypt and Hermes Trismegistus. That goes back further than any religion. Like that's like religion's almost kind of like there's been people that have like almost hidden those philosophies and used religion to re-teach it or re-preach it.
Yep.
Or people haven't understood the ancient philosophies and they've just used religion to make it explainable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but you could also say that was a religion in those times.
Well, yeah, no,
I think it was. So it's just an original idea of what religion is, and humans just evolve ideas and situations to the given understanding at that time. So at that time, that was the religion way that it was taught, and then I think now's the religion way it's taught, and maybe in like 1,000 years, people are going to discover certain parts of whatever Christianity and say that's, do you know what I mean? It is what it is, but I think it all correlates to the same thing. I think that kind of stuff you're talking about, Hermes Trismegistus, is kind of speaking about a creator, like a greater energy source, a greater universe.
Yeah.
Really, if you're intelligent enough, that's really something talking about God, is it not? I think.
I was actually, when I was listening to it on the way up here, just how you label it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like they say Hermes, right? They call him the god. They call him the god. And they say he's like this Egyptian god. But where did he get it from?
Exactly.
It's like there's something that we can't see. There's infinite intelligence that they get this from. And we point to this one god. And again, is that just another way to conceptualize it and say it came from this place so we can make sense of it and apply it to our life? Probably. And again, we are tiny little human brains trying to understand what we can't see. It's fucking crazy stuff. But
the comprehension is very hard, man.
I'd say these books do a good job at making it make sense, though. Do you know what I mean? Definitely.
Talk about the hate as well. It's like positive, negative. It's almost a construct that we create and we apply to things. So what is negatively given from someone doesn't need to be received negatively by us. And I've understood that energy directed is energy received. So negative, positive, give me it all, as you said. It's like this will build momentum into the energy that I fucking possess and what I'm trying to push. So some cunt sharing, like, I posted a video the other week and inside an hour got like 35 fucking shares. I've never had that in my life, but it was a bit of a like cringy video, right? But send it out about, call me a gay fucking poof faggot cunt. It's like, mate, cunts are I'm gonna get energy from that. It's gonna push me further towards the people that do want to connect with me. So it's understanding that it is a complete construct. You tell yourself and you believe what is positive, what is negative. Do you know what I mean?
It's all pendulums. So like, see when I said pendulum is like a negative thing, more life is a pendulum. And see all the people that are
pendulum goes
hating.
from negative to positive. Is that not
Yeah,
the way you mean
pendulums
that?
like you can imagine it as like a piece of string with a ball and
I
it
say
swings side by
I say
side.
that for fighting as well. Pendulum, it's that kind of thing, but it goes from negative to positive. Is that that's what I took for that? Then?
Negative to positive, it's more so like the pendulum will swing in whatever direction it's pushed.
Right.
So like
That's what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah. And it's like a energy structure, like the way I'm speaking about it anyway. And when people send us hate, negativity, it's pushing the more life pendulum higher. Like they don't fucking know it, and they're like, "Oh, this I fucking hate those guys." I had 200 people share a post of mine, get 60k views, fucking 200 comments, whatever it was, right? Pendulum's getting pushed higher. The more life pendulum's getting pushed higher.
I know what you're asking though, because like pendulum is like perceived as like there's two sides.
Right.
So like positive to negative is that like what do you mean? See when you say like feeding the pendulum of negativity, for example,
The pendulum only
is
benefits.
that just like negative? Do you know what I mean?
No, so the pendulum will swing in whatever way is favorable to itself, regardless if it's positive or negative. So, like we've got the more life pendulum is swinging in one direction. It's not swinging back the way, it's swinging in one direction. The pendulum's swinging and it gets pushed higher and higher and higher as it gets fed with any type of energy. Because think about think about more life being a negative pendulum in someone's life, right? They see us posting, fucking that cunt again. I fucking hate that cunt. Comment on our post. That they're aligning their thought energy, their frequency with the pendulum that is more life, but for them it's negative.
Yeah.
But we don't, it's not positive or negative to us, it's positive to us. And because life is neutral and it's not positive or negative, nothing has a meaning until we give it a meaning. To them it's negative, to us it's positive. It's like it's neutral. Life is neutral until you give it a meaning.
And on like a technical level, it's all just feeding your algorithm and pushing up your views. So they think they should just keep silent. If they really don't like you, keep fucking silent.
Literally.
Stay writing a stupid joke. I'm really friendly with Richard Dixon. He's like a really good social media kind of guy. And he explains that right well. The attention that he gets is just garnering like more on the algorithm, boosting his views, ultimately putting money in his pocket. I spoke to him about that before and I thought, well, that's a fucking great way of thinking of that.
Yeah.
So when people write to me, I always say, like, if they write something stupid, I just go, thanks for engaging, as in, thanks for building this post up, because ultimately it's going to put more reach to my business and give me more coaching clients, ultimately.
Yeah, because it'll start to,
you just help me, thanks for give me all the hate you want.
You're just pushing your pendulum higher.
That's our perception of putting that in a positive pendulum. We're swinging that pendulum to the positive side by
100%.
taking that energy in.
Literally, that's it.
So you're all about mental fortitude. You talk about it. It's like what you do with your clients through your coaching. It's understanding also like Newton's third law, a reaction is an equal and opposite reaction.
Beautiful,
so like when you think about that, so like someone's trying to change, someone's trying to move forward, they take say 5 steps forward. They don't necessarily need to take 5 steps back, but there might be 5 things thrown in their way, 5 obstacles that they need to then overcome to even out the balance, because every action is, so if they're stepping forward, there's going to be like steps back or obstacles coming their way. So like with your clients, how do you help them overcome those obstacles and in the path to becoming a better man and mentally fortitude?
A great way of thinking. I said this recently, like I've just recently went 2 steps back and I'm on the path to going 10 steps forward just now. So even at this point in my upward spiral hasn't stopped, I don't think. I went through a really, really bad situation and I've already, the opposite side of that, I've already passed. So the 2 steps has already been more than 2 steps forward. Do you know what I'm saying there? My mental fortitude training, like I give people the understanding, right, that they need to do everything in their life to keep themselves fortified, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And they're all directly tied together. They're all correlated. They can't be one without the other. So a lot of people come to like certain problems and they say, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. You won't do this. You can fucking do it. Fucking do whatever you want. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You won't do it. Like, for instance, I can't stop taking coke. No, you won't take it. Coke's there. You're either taking it or you're not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want people to understand that strong mindset, that ability, that fortified mindset, that although in your past you've been addicted to drinking drugs, this comes from God as well, this comes from Islam as well. That's just a test. You were tested at that moment to ultimately draw you closer to God or become a mental fortified human being. But closer to God's more deeper than that. So that little test, don't get hung up about it. It's just a fucking wee period in your life you're addicted to gear. Who gives a fuck? Don't worry about the past. It just makes you depressed. If I only got this wee day, this wee second, this wee minute that I'm talking to you guys, I'm so grateful for it. That's all I've got. Don't know what's going to happen next week. I say I'm going to fight in 2 fights and MMA. I don't know yet. It's been organised, you know what I mean? But we'll see once it comes, God willing. So I like people understand, tie them, not just this mental fortitude, tie it to being fit. You're not going to get through these battles, this war, if you're not armoured like a warrior. You need to be armoured like a warrior. You need to be physically fit. Not necessarily go and learn how to batter people and fight people. That does help because I can translate the message through fighting because I'm a fighter. But so basically how this became about was, right, I'm in like a group like through Andrew Tate and stuff like that.
The war room.
The war, and I was coaching a lot of people on boxing and fighting. But kind of wealthy guys, and they weren't learning how to box or fight to become boxers or fighters. They were wanting to become more mentally fortified. And I clicked and went, that's what I'm really teaching people. I'm not teaching people how to perfect a punch and go and get a career as a fighter. I'm putting people through maybe just one fight, 5 fights, 10 fights, so that they can test themselves in that ultimate pure way. Every man should fight. Go and test yourselves in a fight, man. It's the most primalistic way to test yourself.
Yep.
You're in a cage or a ring and some opponent who's been training to try and fucking knock you out in front of your family and friends, and all you've got is a wee referee in the middle with a cage. You've got a cage door that's been locked. You can't jump out the cage. You need to just face your battles. And it's not just a battle of a human being that's fighting you, it's your battles of your past and your laziness and your weakness and your lack of faith and your lack of being a good person. Everything all encompassed in this one wee 9-minute fight or 15-minute fight for MMA or whatever. So I understood that I think I'm a mentally fortified person. Even in times of my weakness, I still get through it. You know what I mean? So it's a testimony. The test was before the testimony, and I'm hearing the testimony now. And I try and translate those things that I've learned, and I've learned them at that base level through fighting. But also my kind of little thing as well, that I have went through crime and I have went through prison and I survived like 2 murder attempts as a young boy, 17 and 18. And God put me through that to show me how fucking tough I am, show me how faithful I am because I came back to God, and show me how mentally fortified I am. I don't recommend that my clients go and get stabbed. Don't recommend my clients go and end up in prison. Don't even recommend my clients all go and fight. But on a smaller level, all those kind of things that I've learned, and I systemise them in certain ways, and I tie them to certain things. And it is actually relative to the individual as well. So you might not, although they're twins, you might not learn the same way that you learn. But I'm quite intelligent enough cornering different fighters and teaching people fighters different styles and that kind of stuff. I can teach different clients different things. And the problem they can give me, I think I'm quite a good listener. And I can be receptive enough to understand that information and give them some help. If the help works, may they go with God. If the help doesn't work, they'll need to go to a different coach. But I've got a really good success rate with it. I've got a really, really good success rate with getting people off drinking drugs. I've got a really, really fantastic success rate with teaching people how to fight, teaching people to be better husbands. That's one thing I'm really into, is like being a family man. So fighting, faith, mental fortitude, and freedom is all kind of things I encompass in my coaching. We need total freedom, financial freedom, freedom from sins, freedom from bad habits. We need to be mentally fortified to get us through those sins and those tests. We need to be a family man, because ultimately our goal in this life is to create future generations. A lot of people negate this. Usually guys are younger than me, but a lot of guys even at my age don't want to go and get a family because they're insecure and this woman that I'm with might reject me.
Yep.
I've been through hell with my wife. We fell out and shell out, and I fell out with her and went with a stripper for 6 months and fucking went Jack the Lad and went wild. And at the time I thought I was a good time and all that. I was fucking nearly crying myself at night every night.
Yeah, fuck that.
Taking more fucking drugs than MD ever took to like numb myself because I was without my family who was sitting fucking 5 miles down the road. That was hard for me, man. And it's hard for anybody, and I went through that. So I'm quite an experiential person. I went through a lot of shit. I know a lot of people say I went through a lot of shit, but I have actually went through a lot of shit.
You literally have.
I have. and I can teach people the small lessons I've learned. So that's what my question is.
Yeah, because like, you know, you have the baseline principles, morals, values, concepts to teach them. You just need to understand the context that they're living in to then apply it to them. The thing is as well, though, it's interesting to think about if you were as connected to God as you are now. Like, you wouldn't have went with a stripper for 6 months. So like the fact that you like found the kind of spiritual connection to God in Islam is what's put you on this righteous path. Like the sooner people find that, the better, because people are just consumed by their fucking ego, and it is something that will rip a lot of people's lives apart. And then they're going through the rehab and they're like, oh, this, that, and then it's like by that point they've ingrained all these bad fucking beliefs about themselves that it's sometimes for a lot of people it becomes a never-ending battle. Like they're always trying to fight against this. And you say understanding, there is a deeper level of understanding of life and concepts that you kind of need to learn if you want to gain that deeper sense of control and have that deeper sense of fulfillment in your life. Because a lot of people don't. Like we're 24 sitting here, right? But mentor, like multimillionaire mentor. I've got a lot of multimillionaire clients that are very successful, not just financially, but spiritually. We've had a lot of deep conversations, and even my line of work, I've literally physically treated thousands of people. So within that, started to compile the conversations and knowledge to understand that you do need to think deeper. Like thinking deeper is stressful, and for a lot of people, they live on this superficial plane. Like the dopamine, the scrolling, the wanking, snacking, fucking all this shit, coke. Understanding that to have a more deeper, fulfilling life, you need to think on a deeper level. And if you don't, you won't. It's as simple as that. It's crazy.
Deeper level, for instance, even you and your occupation, so you help people physically to get over injuries and stuff like that. And it's a fantastic, actually, that's a great thing, because it's a really, really necessary service for the world.
Yeah.
Changing people's lives. But I can imagine that it's not just purely a physical thing for you. I can imagine you actually spoke to me about your clients earlier on. I can imagine you get to connect with each other. Maybe in the future you do business together. Maybe you end up best pals with a lot of them.
100%.
That's a really, really deep level. So some of these people might be suffering physically, but it's tied mentally and maybe even spiritually as well.
100%.
They'll come, they'll get help to you physically, but also sit and speak to you and unload their problems. Not just unload their physical problems,
That's a
unload
therapy
their
session.
healthful problems. And you, I can imagine, we'll be able to talk back to them and give them that.
Yep.
That's a even more a greater experience and a better service that you're offering. A service is a great word. A better service that you're offering for people. That's amazing, man. Even fitness coaching, right? You can teach people somebody to get a six pack. Very easy. Go running, stop eating shite, be disciplined, be consistent. But it's not just about the fitness or the physicality.
No.
How is your mind going to feel from that?
Yep.
You're going to feel a better character in life. You're going to carry yourself better. You're going to be more confident, more able, more even be able to defend your family if you're a fit person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just about the physicality. So when people think of things on like just the base level, what they're doing, mate, everybody in this world, every single person in this world changes the world just a small bit. Just a small bit. Even the bin man in the street, people would say, oh, he's got a bad job and that kind of stuff. That guy's cleaning our civilization. He's one of the leaders of our civilization. Not the leaders, he's one of the most important men in our civilization. He's not leading because he's not creating policies and that. Everybody needs to understand that we've all got a great, great part to play in this world, and that's what the universe and community is.
Yep.
Don't ever think that you're better than somebody. I don't think I'm better than anybody. Muhammad Ali is like somebody, like he's like, I don't really like have heroes and kind of stuff like that, but he's one of my heroes, right? Like obviously like Jesus Christ and Prophet Muhammad, and Muhammad Ali is a fantastic hero for me. He converted to Islam, and that's probably what made me know what Islam was, obviously, when I was a young boy, because I just loved him, right? He's got this great quote, I don't want to talk to MD that doesn't give the cleaner the same respect as the CEO. That for me, just for a guy that's a
that's
multi-million
perfect.
pound world champion, everybody loves him. He's going to be sitting talking to the cleaner in a restaurant as well as like the CEO of a business the exact same way.
Yep.
And I really, really try and take that on. I take that on. I don't like to change who I am with people. A lot of people say they don't, but I really don't. I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to a guy that's homeless in the street for hours and maybe not even give the time of day to a CEO because he's a bit of an arsehole.
Yep.
But I don't give him more importance than him just because I know I can get something out of him. I've got everything I want. I've got God. I've got my family. I've got my health. I've got my good looks.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
I'm like, so when I talk about ego and that, we're talking about money. And I've done a lot of bad things for money in my life, right? A lot of bad things, and just ego driven. I had more money, more financial money, more material money. See, right now, guys, I am the richest man in the world. I am the richest man in the world. I am a multi-billionaire. not maybe in my bank account. I've got a beautiful family, amazing friends. I was in prison and I really seen amazing friends, even people I didn't know for a long time. They must love and respect me that much. Went and helped my wife, went and helped my family, went and helped my children. That for me is worth all the money in the world. My beautiful wife, like she's, you can say like ride or die, right? And we have split up and I went my separate ways and all this kind of shit happened and that. But imagine living in a country and your man's in jail in a different country. She's in Portugal and I'm in Spain. We're from Scotland. She's got 3 kids for us. And then stuck by my side.
Crazy.
Sat and had coffee the other day and told her I love her. She told me she loved me. And I can imagine we're going to die together. I don't think money, there's not a single penny in the world,
No.
£1 million in the world, £1 billion in the world that beat that.
No, I can't buy that. Cannot buy that. Maybe ego, but it's not just fitness coaching. It started off fitness coaching. But
Sorry, bro. No, I'm just talking about
Why
that
would you
in a
call him a
style.
fucking fitness coach?
I thought that's what you done.
no, so like fitness coaching, obviously, every fucking coach starts doing just the gym, right? But obviously, I'm transitioning, as you can tell by the way I'm talking, the things that we're speaking about, it's a lot deeper than
No, sorry,
Fitness.
I'll go on that again.
it starts in your mind.
I'm not just a boxing coach.
You're like a fighter.
I'm not just a boxing coach. You're not just a fitness coach. You're not just a physiotherapist. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It encompasses so much.
Yeah,
I don't know if you teach people how to fucking make money or how to do setups. I don't know. I don't know spoke to you about it yet. But what I'm trying to say is, on that small level that people see, there's so much more.
Oh no, 100%.
Do you know
I
what I
agree.
mean? So a lot of people think,
Sorry,
like,
that was ego kicking in.
sorry, bro. Calm yourself down. Calm that ego down. Go and tell him to pray in the corner for a minute. So people on my Instagram, they see that I'm a fighter and they see that I'm talking about what my coaching is, right? But people say, can I sign up for sessions? Thinking that I'm just going to teach them how to be a boxer. So I've kind of get away from the sessions. I was doing private sessions because I was in prison, didn't have money. I started doing PTs. And I do have some kind of wee regular clients that I like their energy and I just like to be in the gym because I'm in the gym all the time. But when people message me now, I say, no, like, I don't do that anymore. It's online coaching I do. So I've kind of changed just recently, like weeks ago, to the online kind of stuff. And there is a lot of physical fitness stuff in it, but it's like more I've kind of went a bit deeper with it. That's how I'm saying that to you now. Like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was like I'm just kind of doing coaching basically.
Yeah,
Coaching.
It's the same with me, bro. Literally in the last 2 months, it's like really transitioned into
Beautiful.
reality transurfing, all these kind of reality creation side of things, but put in a way that people can understand it. Because if I start speaking about pendulums and energy and vibrations, as Gio said to me, like my mentor, too lofty. People don't get it. But if you can put it in a way that you can give them, right, okay, this is happening in your life. This is why it's happening. This is how we can really reframe it and make sure it doesn't happen again, or tap into this other life that you can live and align with your best self, and that's how you can award it. That's essentially when I say as well, win the game of life. Gio was like on a call with Jack the other night. He was like, what the fuck does win the game of life even mean, right? But it's creating your desired reality and like having that perfect balance.
That's beautiful.
Health, wealth, happiness, joy, peace, love, and truly being authentic. Like if you can really be the most authentic version of yourself, you've got that perfect balance that I just mentioned there. That's you're winning the game of life. And like you said there, you're a multi-billionaire, not because you've got financially billions of pounds, but you're the wealthiest, most abundant man on the planet, and we all are as long as we've got that perfect balance.
That's beautiful.
I think what holds a lot of people back from being truly authentic, like to themselves and being their true authentic selves, though, is dishonesty and it's insecurity, and that comes from, we talk about religions starting to conflict and oppose each other. That's all mainstream media and the Western fucking media that has created this picture that has made people think that it is Christianity versus Islam. It's not. It's like divide and conquer type shit. You go all the way up to the top, the Zionists or the fucking lizard pedophile freak bastards. It's like understanding that to be your true authentic self, you need to first be completely honest and truly accept who you are, and then build security within that. But without that, if you start to be dishonest because you're growing up next to someone that does maybe have a better start than you, or XYZ, it's like you start to cover up those insecurities through ego, and then the dishonesty builds, insecurity builds, and then you are living a fake life. You're not your own fucking guy. Like I remember, like obviously I think growing up we all have this kind of weird little ego where you're growing up and maybe the cunt in your class has a bit more armpit hair than you type shit, and it's like even like at that lower level you start to build these little insecurities. You're in the football changing room, like do you know what I mean? You're comparing yourself to all these people, and if you don't solidify or kind of reinforce your like who you are as a person, it's like these insecurities will create dishonesty in your life, and you will start living a life that you're not even fucking happy with because you're not even honest with yourself.
That's very poignant, man. A fantastic way of putting that. I really enjoyed that though. Sorry, bro. Sorry, can I just touch
Yeah.
on that?
Aye, fucking
So-
shut up, Kyle.
I was going to ask him a really good question, but I'll hold it.
I'll wait a second. So I want to say a wee good point on that. So obviously I'm 5'4", right? I'm shorter than every motherfucker in the world, right? And I remember being at school at that time and thinking, fuck, just for like 2 weeks I thought about it. I'm dead short. Fuck, saying people call me short. I was like, I'm dead short. Like, it really, I didn't know I was short until I was like fucking 11. And that really made me very secure with myself once I accepted it.
Mm.
Because I'm probably one of the most confident people you ever meet in your life. See, I can go to a nightclub and like when I'm single, I'm not talking about now because I don't go to nightclubs. In the past, I could talk to a fucking 10 out of 10 supermodel and maybe even get success with it because I carry myself like I'm 7 feet tall and I always have. But that wee incident in my school life, I remember thinking I'm dead wee, and that's taught me how to be confident. I just had to accept the path that God gave me. You're a wee fucking cunt. What you got to do about it? You can't do anything.
Can scrap like fuck, but
I can scrap that. Can I made that up with that maybe? And maybe I had a wee reason in myself. They call it wee man syndrome and stuff like that. To like always portray that I was masculine enough or manly enough or whatever. But then again, you could say the same for Winston Churchill. He was 5'5". Napoleon 5'4". Adolf Hitler was 5'4". Alexander the Great was 5'4". It's like
they brought the best out in them in a way.
brought something at them because they guys have obviously realised, wait a minute, I'm a wee cunt, but I've got something, I've got power, I've got ability, I've got the ability to change lives.
We've all got our minds.
And that's where ego, like, we talk about it detriment you, but that ego drove you forward to become the guy you are today. So it's like connecting to God and like not letting your ego edge God out, because like you saying that's flipped a little switch in my head. But it's also understanding that we all have an ego, and it's like becoming aware of it, knowing that your ego is the little dog inside you. You need to learn how to put on a leash and not let it come out and fuck you up.
Got control of your ego. It's not necessarily negative, as we've said. Everything's neutral. You give. I mean, question I've got for you though is, say you're speaking to a past version of Brian or someone that just doesn't know who they are. They're quite lost. They're disconnected. What is the best piece of advice in a sentence, a phrase, a paragraph, however you want to word it, you would give that person that would allow them to maybe move to? And you could maybe then say, your reply could be, well, they will in their own time. It's not for me to give them advice. But if there's anything you could say to the past version of Brian that could have sped up the process of him connecting to God, or someone that isn't like that?
Or sped up the time to find success would be quite a good way of saying that, right? So I would tell younger Brian to think a lot about what the creative energy source is. Think a lot about what God is. Find an understanding and a meaning in faith, and that's what will be your ability for success. That will give you your ability for success in all areas of your life. And I'm a testament to that. And that's exactly what it is, finding God. Not just purely finding God through Islam for people that are listening to me. But I would love that, really, or maybe, I don't really know what I think about that, but find your own path and your own connection to the creative energy source. Because that's going to lead you and carry you through every form of negativity, every form of doubt, every form of insecurity, and also give you and offer you, after you pass those events, nothing but unbound success. If I knew that when I was younger, I wouldn't have done half the shit that I've done. But then again, if I knew that when I was younger and didn't do half the shit I was doing, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys.
Exactly.
So it's all for a reason, you know? But I would really love to have been more connected to God and not lost my way. So if I'm connected to God, I can't go and take a drink of alcohol, because that's directly opposing what God has deemed for me. And I know that's an Islamic principle, maybe not a Christian principle, but I think originally Christians didn't drink alcohol. Somebody said that to me recently. I don't know if it's true or not. Because alcohol clouds your mind.
Mild poison for the body, yeah.
Clouds your mind. It takes you away from who you really are. And then you lead on to cocaine, which is times X, then heroin, fucking times more. Do you know what I mean? So a good wee point on alcohol is that actual alcohol comes from the Arabic word al-ghul. Al-ghul means the spirit. And we say spirits and stuff like that. It's a great little wordplay. And they really don't like it because they don't want to be took in by the spirits or gin or whatever they believe in.
Gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What the fuck?
Yeah. And you can imagine, like, I'm fun when I drink and that maybe, but I've also done a lot of stupid shit. You're not a good person and you're not an original person. You're not authentic and you're not living purposeful. And I want people to know the demon of that. Like, my family run a pub. I don't want to take money out of these pockets, man. And friends run pubs and friends do other things. Like, you know, I mean, I'm not really saying that. I'm not judging them, and I know why. Maybe less is more if that's the way it has to be. But there is a problem. There's an epidemic, and we need to eradicate it. And I don't hear enough people talking about it.
Well, the thing that Algil that you just used there, I was actually going to say that exact same thing. And the analogy of it is, when you drink the spirits, you become possessed by the ghost.
100%.
And it's like, we've had experiences with family members, like, you look in their eyes and it's not fucking them. They're punching holes in walls, they're smashing glasses, they're telling you they're going to kill you. It's like, they're really, really possessed by this demon. When you look in their, I don't know, you've definitely had that before, that encounter with someone that's just possessed, and you can
I've
fucking...
been that possessed, man, many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, maybe you didn't look at yourself in the eyes when you were like that, though, but
Aye.
if you've seen someone like that, you definitely have. You can look in their eyes and it's not fucking them. They're not in their body. And the next morning they're like, fuck, what happened last night? Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. They do get possessed. That's why alcohol is... I genuinely think there should be zero alcohol. I can't see any... That's my position. Don't give a fuck what anyone thinks of it. You're drinking alcohol, there's no need for it. It's poison. Like, why the fuck are you drinking alcohol?
Well, why is it
Form
so
of control.
accessible though?
It's a form of control.
Exactly. That's why it's so
it's
accessible.
social. I understand the social aspect, but like, you're drinking poison and then it's accepted for a reason, so that you're in your mind accepting it and doing more of it. And it's, why is it an issue if someone doesn't want to go for a drink these days? It's like society tells you that he's a bit of a fucking weirdo, he's not coming out for a drink. But it's like you're, if anything, a victim of the greater society and what they've controlled and what they've allowed you to believe that alcohol is actually a fucking good thing, and it's not. It's a poison. It's a mild poison. Drink too much of it, you're gonna die. It's just like I mean, there's things that you can do. You can take the amount of as much mushrooms as you fucking want. You can scran 20 grams of mushrooms, you're not gonna die.
Exactly.
Because it's natural, right?
Exactly.
And then people that take mushrooms, hippie fucking weirdos, people that drink on a weekend, they're sound cunts, mate. They're fucking... So it's like the society that I spoke about earlier, and I kind of fumbled the bag a little bit when I was talking about it, but society in the world has been designed for us to fucking fall off the path, never achieve mastery in life, never get the perfect balance. And it's only people like us sitting in this room, and there's so many other people that we know that and are aware of that, and then are given the free will of surrendering to consciousness, surrendering to God. And once you're given that awareness and you can make that decision that is free, like, you've not got free will of what you experience in your life. So us sitting in this podcast studio, that was controlled by a greater power. We didn't have control over sitting here right now.
Predetermined.
It was predetermined. I don't really believe in that too much, but it was like caused by something, and it wasn't us that caused it. It was this greater consciousness. What we have free will over is our assumptions and the thoughts that we feed and the things that we assume. That's what I believe that we've got free will over, is the thoughts that we're feeding, the assumptions we make about the future. And in that future, that portion of life that we experience, we don't have free will over what we experience, but we have free will over what creates it, or what we feed that then creates that portion of life.
That's beautiful. That used to are sharper than what I thought, man. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this.
So you have to go deep, and I think for a lot of people watching this might be a bit
Well,
too fucking philosophical. but
stick on fucking some dafty talking about fucking TikTok dance or something.
Literally.
So funny enough, like somebody really close to me, like really close to me, is addicted to alcohol, and they were like a demon possessed the other day, and I've had a terrible relationship with them all my life with somebody really close to me, and it's hard. I don't want to get into detail, but it's hard. But my dad, he drunk and done all this stuff when he was younger. He had maybe a madder history than me, and I remember he stopped drinking about maybe my age, roughly. Remember my age, or maybe the exact same time I stopped drinking, because I stopped drinking a year and a half ago. And his full thing was don't drink. And my dad's not Muslim, but he's like the most un-Muslim Islamic guy I've ever met in my life. he is pretty faithful, but that for me is a testimony on how important that is, because he doesn't know a single thing about it, but the principles apply to a good man. Islam and religion and all this stuff, it is just the natural laws of the world. See, you're talking about Hermes Trismegistus, and Christianity and Islam and Judaism and all these kind of things that do it really right. It's just the natural law of the world. We're born here. We need to submit to the fact that we're here, I think, personally. We need to create children. We need to help the children. We need to give to charity. It's just common sense. But they're just giving it us in a way that we can structure. You know what I mean? It's like, I say this kind of analogy, like if you're going to walk up Everest, would you use a branded pair of sneakers like Nike or Adidas, or would you create your own? The ones you created your own, you might feel good and happy that you've created your own, but to be honest with you, the ones Nike and Adidas stood the test of time. That's kind of religion, Christianity and Islam, for example. They've stood the test of time. So if I'm going to walk up Everest or walk up this mountain of life, I'd rather walk through with with the course or the foundation of something that's already stood the test of time.
100%.
Because I'm not intelligent enough to create a religion. Very intelligent guy maybe, but I can't create a religion. I can't like organise certain different thought aspects and stuff like that. But following one just takes away a lot of it's just easier for me to do. And I then I can focus on the stuff that I'm here built to do. I'm not here to create a religion. So Islam for me has done that. And I'll say this other wee thing about control. And you said like the Western media doesn't want religions, even Christianity. I said in the past, there was more religion when I was younger. There was more institution of marriage, more couples were together, more families were together, more family orientated things. Like 95% of my mates, me included, have got like, come from a broken home. And now a lot of the mothers, like my two grands like it, my mum's like it, they're like wee single women in a wee single flat themselves, lonely, not with a man, not with a family as much. And I think that's a concentrated thing. I think maybe giving like social benefits to women, they can say, well, I'm getting fucking £500 a week. I don't need that man anymore. And it takes away the role of the man, which I think they're trying to do. I think people are trying, whoever it is, are trying to do that. And also with Islam, I'm not saying like, well, I will say it in fact. I think if everybody practiced those fundamental things that I practice, I think this country would be a better place. But take that for what you want, because it can also be Christianity. It could also be any religious
Anything,
thing.
yeah.
But with Islam, one of the most important things is that they don't accept interest. Interest is haram. You cannot accept interest. So if somebody gives me 100 grand, I can't be paying them £1 a month on interest. But the Western society is built upon interest.
You look at how Africa's in debt to the West.
It's not a good thing.
Crazy, man.
It's not a good thing,
But
right? So the Western leaders, they don't want Islam filtering in, because that takes away their power structure. If they don't have interest, and they don't have alcohol, and they don't have porn, and they don't have maybe even the back end money that they make off drugs, that would stop all that. Gambling, that would stop all that. And fundamental Christianity as well would stop all that, because it's all the same principles. Jesus Christ, if you don't know the story, was in the temple, the Judaic temples, and he told the moneylenders to get out the temples. Christian man, everybody follows Jesus, the Christian, the icon of Christianity. He told the moneylenders to get out, because the original people of the book, they became moneylenders. And he said, no, that's wrong. We shouldn't be doing that. But even in Christian countries, we still got money lending or finance or interest. Think about that on a deep level, man. That's not a good thing.
no.
That's not a good thing. And like young kids think, I want a nice car, or even you can buy fucking trainers on like Klarna now and get like pay up and that. If you can't afford it, you don't need it. You don't fucking need it. But we've got this devil whispering into us, you need materialism, pride, envy. Take, gluttony. That's the devil. It's in the 7 deadly sins. But people don't take heed of their religion, and I think that's why religion's been taken out of the country. Less importance in families, less masculine men. If you take away the man from the family and you emasculate the man, well, he can't protect and control and help his family. He can't protect and save his family. He's easily controlled. His family is easily controlled. Nobody really thinks about these things.
Yep.
And nobody really says them. I'm saying it, like, obviously I'm a Muslim, and I'm not just saying it purely in Islam. I'm saying it for a white guy that became a Muslim, and I just understand it now. And I'm seeing it in my society, in my Western society. I'm not saying everybody needs to convert to Islam, because that maybe not be the answer. Try and take on the natural laws. If I've got money and I give to somebody, right? I said that to you earlier, I give you money. You say, Brian, I need 100 grand. In the past, I've done this before. I've gave people money and took interest off it. Money always ended up getting lost, right? Because people can't afford it or whatever. But if you say to me, Brian, I've got this business, I've got a clothing brand or whatever it is for my business, or you've got your mindset, I want to do a mastermind or whatever it is, can you invest in it? I'm going to say, how much do you need? 100 grand. Cool, I'll give it. When can you give it back? I'll give it back next year. 100 grand, 100 grand. Fair exchange. I don't need 120 grand. I don't need that. Why do I need that? Just because I've got more money at that given time and I need to fucking capitalise on it? No. I'm helping you, and charitably, you'll help me in the future. See, if more people thought about that, there would be no fucking banks. But we've got control with all these systems.
It's crazy. You think about
Podcast might get shadow banned.
No, I know.
Fucking exposing some deep shit.
But it's like feminism, I see it from the perspective of like women having basic human fucking rights, but now it's became toxic feminism to the point where they're starting to masculinize the women, and as you say, like demasculinize the men in a way that makes both parts of the household, the man and the woman, have to work now because there's such a level. Well, cost of living's going up. Man and women are having to live. That's if there isn't an actual man in the fucking house, right? But that's what happens. They completely feminize the men, make them soft fucking pussies, so that the women have to work. And then that those traditional values cannot be lived out with the man and the women. Also, in a way that the women's minds have been polluted by mainstream media to think that, I should be going out. And it's not to say that women can't be CEOs, but the female imperative is to be the mum, be the carer, be the home carer, not to be locked in the fucking kitchen, but to adopt the roles
Not
of
to be
the
locked in
women.
the kitchen?
What?
You sure?
Do you know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
that's a joke, guys.
Not only between like 2 and 4 p.m. so they can meal prep and that, but it's like when you think about that, it's like then Andrew Tate, for example, like the last podcast you were on, he's a misogynist because he believes in traditional fucking values. It's, you think about what the man needs to bring to the table for the woman to be the woman and fulfill that role. That's where it breaks down, because the man isn't holding his end of the bargain up. So then the woman has to put the trousers on at certain points, and that's because the man's a fucking pussy. That's not really because the woman's a toxic feminist. It's there's a lack in fulfillment in the roles of the man. And that's where the woman needs to put the trousers on.
He's
and
gone
that's
soft, man.
So it's so fucked.
He's gone soft. And, well, think about porn. Porn's a drug, right? Porn is a drug. It's super addictive. It wrecks your energy, takes your energy, robs it. It kills every form of masculinity or every form of your essence that you could ever have. And it's free. And you can fucking watch it when you're 9 years old on your phone.
Yeah, fucked.
That is a concentrated effort to demasculise men. Because if you're obviously doing that, watching porn, which I don't do, you're not going to go and want to try and like do it with your wife. And then also, you're not going to be a leader in the relationship. You're not going to have enough energy to go and hustle and make money. Yeah. Think about that, man. That's really, really powerful. Like, I think people need to stop doing that.
Oh,
like,
100%.
I've got Instagram, and like, obviously there was women on it and stuff like that. So I don't follow any woman on Instagram. I follow my wife, and that's it. I don't follow my wife and sisters. I think I don't follow any day. I don't really want to watch a woman fucking taking her kids to school anyway. It's not really content I want to consume.
Yeah.
But when I get the recommended things, it's like woman and tits and all that, I just go, not interested. Don't even look, not interested. And my page is just like you guys and training and like Islam things and whatever, fighting. I'm safeguarding myself for that. Because it is a strong urge.
It is. Oh, it is, bro.
And like, you need to be that man in the relationship that your woman wants to be led by. So in like caveman times, the women went to the alpha male. I hate the word alpha male, but the women went to the strong man.
Why do you hate the word alpha
I think
male?
alpha male just gets overdone and like.
Do you not believe that there
guys,
is alpha males though and beta males?
No, there is. No, obviously it's a scientific thing. Obviously, I do believe in what it is. I don't like using it on the internet because guys that are on the alpha males say they're alpha males.
Right.
And they're no alpha males, they're fucking pussies.
No, yeah.
And I know they're pussies. But the woman wants the stronger man, the alpha male, obviously, scientific way we've got to say it. Because he was out hunting, he was the best fighter, he was the provider. And see, ultimately, he's probably the nicer person because he's no insecure and wants to go and be nicey all the time. Because they nice motherfuckers, they just act nice to get something.
Yeah.
There's nice and there's good. I read a book, Nice Guys Finish Last, I think it was called. There's nice and there's good. I'm a good man. I read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations recently. Be a good man. Which means don't be overly nice. Don't be trying sneaking in to do good to try and get good and fake it. I'm good because it's good to do.
You're a good person, yeah.
I'm a good person. And there's been times that I haven't led the relationship. I cook and that sometimes. I'm not saying I'm not like my gender roles and all that kind of stuff.
You cook?
I do. I'm a fantastic cook. I help my kids and family and all that. I do all that. But ultimately, my wife is led by me, and she provides so much more for that. But if I allowed my wife to become the masculine energy and whatever like a lot of people do, she wouldn't respect me. That's what I'm trying to say. Women don't respect you being all like equal and all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, because it's hardwired in them to follow the masculine man, the alpha male. Yeah. So we need to be the alpha male in the relationship to be the leader, and they will follow. Because women are emotional. Men are logical. Yeah. Leaders are logical. Maternal women, mothers are emotional, and I need emotionality from my wife. I'm not a very emotional person. I need that from her.
100%.
My children need it from one of the twos, and it's not me. I'm the logical one. I'm the one that says like the shit needs to get done. It needs to be done this way. But I need to control that. I need not control is a terrible word. I need to lead that relationship in such a way that it's going to be healthy and natural for us. And this is a great kind of story, a kind of great way that made me think of this. I went to Sweden to do like a kind of training camp a few years ago with a client, and I went to All Stars, big fancy gym, and that. And Sweden's went a wee bit downhill because you can imagine like that was the Vikings, the fucking Vikings. They fucking conquered and were big strong guys. See in Sweden, mate, all the women are butch or highly sexed, like big beautiful women. They're either solid. If you go through the airport, saw a woman get security guards and all that, which is a bit mad. All the men are skinny, pushing prams.
What?
Like the Vikings have become the Vikings.
Yeah, what?
It's absolute. It's like I can see it, and I think that's happening in maybe our Western civilization more than what people like to admit. It's no like be a toxic masculine man, like, but is it? I don't know. It's been a strong leader, and women reciprocate that and bring back femininity.
You said so you didn't like the word control, but I think that's like everyone, like you just said, that's a bad word to use, but like I think that's because most people would say it's bad. So give you the example, right? Someone comes into the house, he's with a knife, and he's gonna you're controlling that situation, right? Get in the fucking bathroom. I'm gonna go and deal with that. You're taking control. So
taking the lead as well, but just because
you're controlling you're the one that controls that environment. You're the one that controls the house. And for example, I'm sure that if you go in and the kids are acting up, when you go in, shit starts to fucking stop acting up because you take control. You know what I mean? So I don't think control is a bad word at all.
There's authority that you
like
bring.
You're super
God,
right.
You're controlling.
Right.
It's like that fucking Western.
I mean to say that. Sorry, I'll just touch on that lightly. I don't control her as in a manipulative way.
You don't even need to explain
You
it to
don't
us.
you don't even tell her you control her either.
I lead.
No, but to everyone else, that's how they take it.
Exactly.
It's like manipulating, but it's
I don't want people saying he's a controlling fucking freak.
No, but
they'll have the fucking domestic police at my house tomorrow.
It's kind of on them to take away that.
You control your life, Brian.
That's the way it's been phrased. Even you're saying the police would actually come to you, they actually probably would, because that's how the society's been trained. Like, we can't control. We need to let them. No, like someone needs to take fucking control. Exactly. So that someone's like, there's a boat, right? You've got a boat. That's your family. Who's fucking directing that boat?
That's true.
Who's taking control of the direction of the family? I mean, it's the guy, because I'm not saying the women can't. The women definitely can. There's definitely women that are leaders, right? But does the woman want to take control? Does she want to be the main breadwinner? Does she want to, if someone comes into the house with a baseball bat, take control of the situation and deal? No, they don't. They want to be safe. They want to get hugged. They want to be loved. It's all women really, truly want, is to be cared for. And taking control is a good thing, bro. I think I'd back it.
For me and you guys, we understand what I was trying to say there. I didn't want to say that the wrong way either.
No, I get it. People. It's so shit that we need to do that though, innit? You need to explain control and fucking...
It's like we're driving a car and it's like, women can't drive, so like, we have to drive.
See, like, I'm a fantastic controller of a car. I've been driving, my dad was a car trader, so I've been driving for his fucking tiny, used to sit in pillars and that. But I'm not the best driver on the road because like, I'm fucking too, like, I'm too fast brained. So for instance, I go to a roundabout and like a woman hesitates and I'm fucking nearly crash into her. Yeah. But my woman is good on the road. Yeah. She like, follows the rules and regulations really, really well. I'm driving fast and fucking shouting at cunts and on the phone and that. So women being better drivers than men, they're no better controllers of vehicles, and they've no got that fast brain instinct to like, hit the brakes or do this and this and this. And a lot of women are hesitant. You go to a junction, she's hesitant, she's thinking, should I go?
Yeah.
Because her brain power isn't saying, right,
more
there's a big massive distance there you can go.
Yeah.
Like, my wife is a great driver and a great controller of a car, and she's never, and I've been banned and stuff like that, but I've been banned because I just don't follow the rules and regulations.
Same.
But she, like, for instance, I don't know if you've just done this with a woman, I'm driving and there's like a motor a mile away, she's like, brake! Like, that's an exaggeration. Like, there's a motor a few hundred feet away and she's like, brake! Like, pure para, and I'm like, no,
my
I'm
girlfriend.
logical. I can understand the fucking the distance control of that there. I don't need to fucking brake, shut up.
It's crazy. She's like breaking it on the fucking...
It's not that.
That's breaking down though how when you say women aren't as good drivers, like that is the actual reason that they might not be as good. So
no, it's totally right. It's totally right. A woman needs to drive, not that. Obviously, it's not in society, but woman roles, right? Look, be a mother and learn how to cook, and also go and work if you want. Like, definitely, there's women. There needs to be like nurses and stuff like that. There needs to be like
100%.
carers and that. The world needs that. Like, saying woman can't work's just stupid. Right?
Stupidity.
For years and years, I didn't want my woman to work. Funny enough, I was like, no, you need to be in the house, and she was kind of listening to that. But no, she always wanted to help with like, social care, because she had like a mad thing in her past, and she wanted to help the unfortunate kids. And she's went and got a wee job with that, and she goes and helps in this homeless house, and that, the homeless kid's house. I couldn't do that.
No.
But because she's emotionally like superior to me, that she would be able to do that.
She finds purpose in that.
She finds not only purpose, but she's great at it as well.
Yeah.
But she is, it's fantastic she's done it, because she finds purpose. She studied like psychology and that to get her in that position. And she also does like aesthetics and stuff like that. I can't do that. I'm not going to go sit and fucking gab to a woman and fix her eyebrows. You know what I mean?
No.
So there is roles, there is necessary business and work for women, obviously. But fundamentally, like, the man is the breadwinner. So I'm the one that's going to go and work fucking 20 hours, 25 hours a day if I need to. And if she works, obviously I make more money than her. I don't really want to take her money off her. Obviously it helps, and we're like a partnership enough that if we need it. But I want her to be kind of enjoying her money as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's misogynistic. I think that's quite fair.
It's fucked up that it is, though, and it's like seen as unfair when all we want to do is not let the women we're with not have to bear the financial stress of life. It's like, as you say, we're the breadwinners, we're the fucking guys that are bringing the food to the table. They just need to make sure that table is clean. That table is set up for the food to come.
And the house is settled and clean, and I can't fucking clean a house. I'm not really like that, you know what I mean? Like, I can clean up an organised house, but try and do it with 3 kids running about at 7 in the morning screaming. She gets them up for school. I can't fucking do that. It's hard.
And like, see, I've obviously had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients I've spoken to, women, about all this shit. And I was like, in an ideal world, if you had a man that you fully respected and wanted to, in a way, submit to and let provide for you financially, XYZ, that you could fully trust for the rest of your life, and all you had to do was XYZ, and I built a picture, and the only girls and females that say to me no are the ones that have not had a father figure in their life when they were growing up.
Wow.
A broken down kind of father figure, someone that's not, that they've had to adopt masculine traits to make up for the lack of masculine energy and kind of discipline within their upbringing. And it's literally every single fucking female I speak to has a lack of father figure in their life, or has had problems with their dad, or XYZ. And that's why they say, oh, I couldn't let a man do it. Because it's like you've not got trust in a man being able to do that. That's why you feel like that.
That's unfortunate.
It's crazy. See, when you said about just a little comment about like us not being equal, like men and women, it's like, to be equal, you need to be the same. And we're not the same.
No, I think we are equal. I think we're equal, but different in a different way.
I would say like equality.
You just said that Brian said women and men are, they're not equal.
No, I mean in the sense
they're
that
just
like
different.
I mean in the sense that like
women are more powerful than men in some
I
ways.
think it's polarity. See, like you see yin and yang, the black and the white and the dot and the dot. I think that's a great kind of way for
right.
it. Like, I'm not equal in fighting ability.
That's
She's not equal in me in fighting ability, sorry, but I'm not equal in her, and that's got a direct energy some other way.
Yeah.
And the two is complete a whole. So
Yeah.
we are equal. Equals no the word that's like I'm better at some things, she's better at other things, and I understand what those things are. I'm even more learning every day which those things are.
Yeah.
But see, touching on that, sorry, about the girls that never had a father figure, and we said about insecurity in the past. Say, for instance, your wife does do something that you don't like. How many people are that insecure that they can't get at it? So me and my wife argued like fuck, and she done things and I done things, like partying and whatever, and just shouting at each other and this other and kind of stuff. And one of the biggest tests that I had was coming back to get with her, because we split up a few times after, and we must love each other because we keep creating kids together. We've got 3 kids, and I fucking love my missus, man. I'm not scared to say that. I think it's a masculine thing to say that. Like, I would be nowhere without her. She is brilliant, and unfortunately, sorry, if we ever did split up, I can walk on and move on. I'm not going to get insecure about it and greet about it and do anything to my life or anything like that. But on the other hand, I need to be there with her because I've created 3 children that I'm talking about in the future. Say, for instance, I don't want my daughters to go and go, my dad wasn't in the picture, so this is why I'm like this. Because that's me not fulfilling my role. My role is to provide, guide, protect, provide and guide. Protect, provide and guide. That's my role as a father and as a human being, I think. Because ultimately it is about creating children. A lot of people don't say this. It's about creating children. It's about making children. I think is it no saying that Western countries are making less children and stuff like that?
Oh, it's
Fucked.
crazy. It's
Fucked,
so
bro.
fucked up.
That's porn, alcohol,
Yep.
insecurity for relationships.
LGBTQ.
I don't want to get into that too much.
No,
but
well, there's like one of my clients, P1 kid, and P1 get 2 books given home, and I won't go into crazy detail, but one of the books, 2 of the books, fucking mental, but one of the books talking about how it was like animals in the jungle, and it was like some animals don't have a mum, some don't have a dad, sorry, some animals have 2 dads, and it's painting this picture in the head, and obviously, fair enough, like gays can adopt X, Y, Z, but the other book was talking about how like the boy tiger might feel like a fucking girl and all this fucking shit, and this is just a 5-year-old child, like, I've been given books handed home for the parents to read them. That's starting to indoctrinate kids into thinking that you can chop your fucking cock off. It's like that's a fucking mental illness. And
All I'm gonna say is keep the kids out of it. Let's not you don't even get any benefits of us like sitting saying our political views on this, but all I'm gonna say is keep the fucking kids out of it. Like, why are you training kids that
it's so perverted?
they're almost, no, but it's not necessarily like educating them. It's actually
It's indoctrinating their minds
to think that that's kind of the new norm when you get brought up without all this stuff that we did. We didn't get brought up with that.
In
with
primary
that in our
school, it
books.
was just the fucking.
Just boys, girls, happy, dad, mum, and it's like you don't need to infiltrate their fucking minds and manipulate them to think X, Y, Z. Just let nature happen. If sexuality is so diverse that if you're gay, it's not wrong. If you want to become a woman, that's absolutely fine. Sexuality and gender can be diverse to a lot of people, but to start to train kids that is the norm is, I think it's like, it's almost like taking them off the course of like life and as it should happen. Do you know what I mean? But
it's natural. It's natural. It's unnatural. Sorry, we don't want to go against nature. Don't want to go against God. Don't want to go against the foundations of religion. But I will say this: I know people that like, practice sex in different ways, like, and they're beautiful human beings, and I love them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't judge anybody. Only God can judge, and I'm not saying they need to be judged. It is what it is. I don't have any problem with anybody that's a homosexual at all. If I get certain views on it and beliefs on it, maybe, but I don't want to put out there. I don't like when I say like weak men and kind of stuff like that, and people write up LGBT flags and stuff like that. I'm not meaning that. Like, somebody can go into their bedroom and practice sex whatever the way they choose. I do things with my wife that I don't want to like go and promote and stuff like that. You know what I mean? As I said, I've got people that I love that are part of that community, and I don't want to say anything bad about them. But I went to a talk. Do you ever heard of David Icke? Never heard of David Icke? Man, the internet's fucked everything. So he was like one of the first guys that was talking about mindset and like consciousness and stuff like that.
David Icke sounds
ICK. Oh man, Google him. You'll know about him. So he get banned off the internet not too long ago. But he says things like reptilians. He created that. He created that idea.
With the lizard people.
He's the one that created that idea, and just against the mainstream kind of stuff like that. So about maybe fucking 17 years ago, I went to a talk with him. 10-hour talk, and it's a bit mad, like the royalty or lizards and all that kind of shit. And he spoke about this time about vaccines and control, and there's going to be a big epidemic. I didn't know this at the time, but the last few years I've realised it. Do you know what the last thing he said? They're coming after your children. That's scary for me.
That's what they're doing, man.
I'm not saying they're coming after them that way, but there is things out there, people in control that seem to be doing things with children, and you hear about it, sacrifices or whatever. Even the P Diddy thing and all that, I don't think that was just for sexual gratification. I think that goes back deeper to like maybe Babylonian times, and there's like sacrificial kind of things and like doing things to people. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to go too deep in it because I don't know enough about it, but he said they're coming after your children. We need to safeguard our children, and that starts with being a man in the house, being a leader, being a controller, if you want to say, being a strong man, being mentally fortified, and ultimately, number one is to be connected to your God, your creator.
Yeah, connected to God. And God is such a good way to put it, because it puts everything into context of the thing that we can't see, the thing that we can't name, God.
What is it you said about the 94% is the unseen?
99.6%.
That's God for me, because God's unseen. That's in the Quran quite a lot. The unseen, they say about the unseen. That's
Well, energy
mad
exchange.
that you said that there.
Is unseen.
Sorry, son. But you said that there, the unseen, because that's a major thing in Islam. Because the incomprehensible thing that we're given, you don't know if that 99.6% is like the energy source that's created us to bring us here.
Yep.
We're only that small, wee insignificant part of it. And that's why I think we are insignificant, because there is so much out there and
No,
so
we
much
are.
energy and whatever you want to say. We don't really know what it is. What did you say on it?
I said energy exchange. That's a big part of that. It's completely unseen. Like we don't, the energy we're exchanging right now, it's like not to the
Yeah,
naked eye. It's not seen.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
Um,
But if we can only see 0.3%, we can only see 0.3%. People think that they can control their lives by what they can see, what they can physically do. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any logical sense to put it like that. Like if you can only see 0.3% of your whole fucking reality that exists around you, and you think that you, by doing something physically that you can see and do physically, is going to shape your
I
reality.
think it's
You're fucking
0.03.
well, 0.03, whatever it
More
is, but
fucked
but it's like people think that they can take physical control of their life. It needs to start with in your mind, spiritually connecting to the thing that you can't see, and that's what we're talking about, God. Like, that's
I think it's quite interesting that I've heard before that we only use a very, very small part of our brain. Maybe that's a correlation to that as well. Maybe if we could tap in a little bit deeper to that unseen, which is like maybe through meditation or
Mushrooms.
whatever, mushrooms and things like that, maybe we can tap into that a wee bit more than the 3.3%.
Yep.
And tap into like a better kind of living better, I don't know, and being a better person or whatever it may be more connected to God.
Yep.
So you guys spoke about mushrooms a lot. Let's dive a wee into mushrooms here.
Yeah,
So-
psychedelics, man. It's definitely a mind expanding plant that it'll give you a deeper connection to everything that you perceive.
mushrooms is
Crazy.
like a bridge to consciousness. So it's like, see God. Mushrooms is like a little bridge to God. It's like a little but the best way to connect to God, to come off of mushrooms, and we'll go back onto it, is to be completely fasted. Like, see if you're like completely
The best,
fasted.
other than outside taking mushrooms.
Look, I'd say mushrooms is like a bridge to do it.
Meditation as well.
It's like a quicker
tool,
way
a
to
nice
get
tool,
to it.
yeah.
It's a quicker way to tap into the source, to get more connected to God and be more aware of the things that you can't see and feel it and be more connected. But I think, yeah, if we just stay on the top of mushrooms, obviously, I'd say fasted, no food, you're fasted, you're in a meditative state, you're getting deep, you're connecting, coming out of the head, going into your heart. I think that's the best way to connect to God and
The best,
consciousness.
do you think that's the best way? That's better than mushrooms, but
Well,
mushrooms
Are
are
you saying fasted taking mushrooms, you mean?
No,
just being fasted.
just fully
Right.
fasted, doing prayers. If you want to say it's prayers, or if you want to say it's meditation, whatever it is,
Yeah.
being fasted as like a clean vessel that you can then connect to this bigger thing. I feel like that's the
The
best.
practice is meditation.
The practice is meditation or prayers or whatever you want to
Whatever,
call it.
whatever
But
it
the
is.
state that your body's in, what I'm talking about,
Or
is
fighting.
fasted. Yeah, it's like you're in a better state to connect. You're cleaner. You're easier to get into that.
I
But
love
what
that.
mushrooms do, I think,
love that.
give you an easier access into that. So like, I don't know if you've obviously said you've taken mushrooms, but
Yeah.
most people take mushrooms to trip.
Yep.
They take mushrooms to be like, mate, fucking my hands all fucking fuzzy, bro. You mate, that wall's moving. But that's not actually ancient tradition of taking mushrooms is connecting to God and being spiritual.
I think mushrooms are great. I've took a lot of mushrooms. Took DMT. I've took
Ayahuasca.
what's the wee one you used to get in the shops that was free? Salvia. You ever heard of that?
Is it not like a legal high?
It's stronger than mushrooms, mate.
But is it not like a legal? Is it not like? Was it
I
not
think-
made by humans, or is it like a natural thing?
No, it's a plant.
Is it?
It's a plant. I don't know why the fuck. I was like 14 buying it in shops in the town, and it takes you to a mad serious trip for 5 minutes. Like, I'm talking about a different reality, more stronger than mushrooms. Mushrooms are great. I've took them like heavy trips, and I've took microdosing as well, and I think they are a very, very, very good tool. What kind of got me was though, like even ayahuasca, people say that they're talking to God in that state. And what I believe now, maybe in my religion now, is that you cannot talk to God in any state. You have to wait until your time passes to talk to God. I'm looking forward to that, to get my first conversation with God. Maybe it's like
You can hear
energy,
God clearly.
maybe it's like energies that God have got working for him, but maybe it could be other energies as well. And that's why I don't really like taking them anymore, because I've seen like fucking geometric patterns, but I've also heard and had conversations with things in that realm. Looking back on it, I'm not really a mega fan of tapping into that state. Somebody said to me before, I was right into what to do ayahuasca, I was going to go to Peru and that, and this guy said to me, like, he says, you shouldn't take it. And I was saying, how? I know a lot of people do, and this one guy said to me, he said that because when somebody enters into that spirit molecule, or it's like the death molecule, because apparently DMT is what's in ayahuasca, and I've smoked DMT. When you die or when you sleep, you get an upload of DMT.
Your pineal gland.
Your pineal gland gives you DMT when you sleep and when you die. So I think that maybe you crossing over to the afterlife in a kind of certain way. But when you do that superficially by like ingesting something, like ayahuasca or DMT, you're maybe like cheating the process a wee bit in that regard. Maybe no mushrooms in that regard. And as I said, I want to try and wait until my time comes to do that.
What do you mean by
naturally.
cheating it?
It's like you want to bench 120 kilo.
Like you want to die
Naturally.
before you die type shit?
It's like, in a base thing, it's like you want to bench 120 kilo. You can do it naturally, go through the process, put through the
All
hard
right.
work and learn all the lessons that learned, or you could just jack full of training and do it in a week.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What's better?
Could you do it in a week?
Whatever.
No, but the point he's making, yeah, it's almost like instead of letting the natural process of living and coming to that point where because death is actually, I actually seen a perspective on death the other day. I think it was actually last night. Instagram's good if you follow the right people.
Yeah.
And he spoke about death being like the most beautiful human experience, and no one should fear death, because when death comes, soak it in and be present when you're dying, because that is apparently one of the most beautiful fucking experiences that humans can ever experience is dying.
I believe that. I'm not scared of death at all.
And when we'll see after last night, I went through stages when I was like 14, 15, 16, maybe up to 17. I would be like upset, crying, like stressed out at night time, not being able to sleep with the fact that we're going to die. I couldn't go over the fact that we're not going to be here at some point. And I've definitely accepted it, but that perspective I got last night was like, fucking, like, if I die, it's good. It's like a good thing. Like, I'm actually almost looking forward to experiencing that ultimate, because it's thought as a bad thing. And I think, again, it's another societal thing that we're trained to believe that death is bad. Death is beautiful. Like, you've came through you've won life if you die. If you die at an older age, you've essentially won life.
If you die living a purposeful life is what I try to see, you're even doing it better. Can I say that? What age were you 14 when that was happening?
14, 15, 16, 17, it was like as I started to get fucking pubes and like started to really think about the way things work.
So my daughter's doing that now. She's 9 and I'm talking about it's as if she's possessed, screaming, "No, I'm going to die." She's 9-year-old. And I will say this, I think that means that you're a very intelligent and analytical human being, because I think she is as well. Like, super intelligent. She's got me wrapped in her finger. She's super intelligent. She's my middle daughter. All my children are really intelligent, but she's got a super strong will. She can be hard work, but she's super intelligent. I think that maybe it's the same with you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, death for me, we're going to pass on to death. I think we're all need to experience at one point, and that the reason I don't want to cheat that process is, for me, I hold so much importance in that I need to do that well. I need to live my life in such a way according to my principles and the way that I live my life, that I'm looking forward to doing that correctly. If I try and tap into these other sources and other ways of seeing that superficially before it actually happens, I'm kind of negating the process and the work that I'm doing. The work that I'm doing is to make sure that happens in a great way.
Yeah.
So I don't want to cheat the process. Do you know Stephen Ronald Bell? He's on Instagram and that, YouTube. Super cool guy, man. Really intelligent guy into crypto and that. Anyway, he went to Peru and done like a ibogaine trip, and it was, he follows his group, he speaks about it. He's like an Aussie guy, but he speaks really like us, right? And he said when he was in that space, he was talking to this alien, and the alien was basically saying to him, like, there's other aliens watching them all being sick and shitting and all this kind of stuff, and it was like only entertainment for them. The aliens were only like, kind of, look at these fucking humans.
The entities.
The entities. And I don't really want to connect with the entities. I want to connect with God, and I think that they're here and God's there. God's way up there.
Like
We're
that.
here, they're there. I don't want to get into that kind of spiritual frame, and I was thinking to myself when I listened to that, like, I did get some important things with mushrooms, like taking big trips. I remember I was kind of like ill, had like a wee illness kind of thing, and I remember they were telling me to go and cure it. Like, really, that was a profound thing with that trip. Go and fix that problem, mate. Go and fix that problem.
Yeah.
But maybe what also was happening was like my human reality of being Brian and being a human and being a person and having work and that stuff, that was evaporated for that little few hours, and I was able to actually just, my intelligence was telling me, no, focus on that injury that you know about, that thing you think about, which is quite cool. And also, like, microdosing mushrooms are cool, really good. Like, in fighting, I've took it sparring, and it's as if they lower your anxiety. So every time you're in a combat situation, you've got higher anxiety, higher like energy and nerves and that. They lower it, and it's as if I can see punches coming faster. But then again, I don't want to rely on that to lower my anxiety, because then it's just putting no anxiety in the head and the outside. If somebody takes magic mushrooms to kill the anxiety they live outside, you're just basically putting a band-aid over a wound that needs to be healed.
Yes and no, because mushrooms increase neuroplasticity and the
Right.
ability for your brain to form new neural pathways in your brain. So if you take, I was taking mushrooms and I was doing 1-to-1 boxing with Sean Lazzarini, right?
Oh, well, yeah, Sean trains at my gym. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Sean, and he was literally like a couple of months later. I didn't take shrooms one time. It was fucking. I felt just like I did when I was on shrooms. So it's not necessarily putting a band-aid. It depends how you use it, because you can actually, through neuroplasticity, retrain your brain. And if you're microdosing mushrooms and taking mushrooms whilst trying like a new skill or being in a different environment. For example, I was at a coach's event and one of my worst fears is like speaking in front of like a big group of people. In school, if I get asked to read out a page out loud, like my face would go red, I'd be like, I need to leave it. I'd be fucking horrendous, right? When I started going to college when I was about like 17, 18, I'd wake up with so much anxiety that I was being sick with like acid into the toilet about going to this new place. And I was like 18 years old and I was going through this anxiety. So the idea of me standing up at a coach's event with the other like over 100 coaches and speaking and being the main one everyone's fucking looking at, I was on shrooms. I was literally, I'd taken some shrooms, but I was actually more shroomed than I fucking probably should have been. But when I was in that headspace, because I was on the shrooms and it like decreased the anxiety, I was able to, this is just a separate point, but what happened, I was able to take in the perspective of not speaking to 100 people, but speaking to one person individually 100 times, and it decreased the anxiety. And since then I have spoke at another event and like in front of other people, and I don't have the same feelings as I did before. I believe that it's because the mushrooms, neuroplasticity, rewired these new pathways of speak to one person, not 100, and now I feel like I could speak in front of 100 people and have the same thing, and mushrooms allowed me to rewire my brain.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, that's a fantastic tool, and I think everybody should try that. That's great, and that's interesting to me. I take lion's mane, which isn't really magic mushrooms. It is a mushroom, and it gives me super focus, and I've replaced coffee with it. Super focus and super lack of anxiety. Maybe not as strong as microdosing, but still really good. And it's not a band-aid, is what I said. What I meant is, sorry.
I know what you mean. Don't use it as a crutch. Don't lean on
use
it
as a crutch.
Yeah,
don't use weed as a crutch. Don't use any of these things as a crutch, because then it can lead on to like addiction, and
100%.
you lose yourself in who you truly are.
Intention is everything. So it's like, we used to smoke weed. I used to smoke weed before I'd done a shit in the morning because I had anxiety, right? Whereas like we still smoke weed. Like, I'm not fucking afraid to say that we still smoke the odd weed, but the relationship we've got with it. See, if I've done a really fucked up leg session and I smoke a joint, I go from fucking feeling sick, can't eat, my legs are so sore, to I'm going to eat some food and have some good conversations. That is like, it's a really good tool. But the relationship, the intention behind using these certain things, I think.
You need to use it as a tool.
Intention is everything, yeah 100%.
But ultimately, what was it you said at first? Natural sources of gaining this insight, like fasting.
Yeah.
Probably the best, I would say. And I'll go into that in a minute. It is better. The natural ways are better.
Oh, yeah, it's sober.
But
is the best
when
way.
you think about mushrooms and weed, like in a way I see that as natural because of where it comes from, the earth. And it's like, why is it here? Why, like, is there purpose behind it? Actually, God putting it on this earth for us to maybe utilize. Like, when you say about cheating, like the process of getting to death, could you maybe not see it? And this is just devil's advocate. Could you maybe not see it as you being able to connect on a deeper level before it comes, so that when it does come, you're more prepared and you can actually maybe prepare better for it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's like watching a blockbuster movie that's released, but studying it on YouTube for a few months and seeing wee clips now and again. By the time the movie comes, you're not really that interested in it. That's kind of what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah.
You want the experience to happen as it should.
And it's the ultimate experience, and I want to give that so much honour that it respects and deserves.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not really talking about mushrooms there. Maybe more talking about like DMT and stuff.
Ayahuasca and like,
I took DMT, and fuck me, that is a crazy fucking thing to take. Because I was right in like Joe Rogan and thinking I'm going to be spiritually aligned and all that. But then now I think about it, maybe even Joe Rogan's a part of that. It's still doing shit to me that I don't want. Like, I smoked in my living room. My wife was upstairs, and I started to like melt away, and my phone started to melt away, and I was trying to Google on my phone how to come off DMT. And I was running around my house, I had the DMT in my cooker and all that, and I was freaking out, and everything was all going blown pickle and all that. And that wasn't a good experience, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
no.
Why not just like try and wait till death comes? I'll speak about fasting now if you want, man. Like, obviously, like as a fighter, you need to fast to cut weight. So I've done that 50 odd times in my life. And me and my brother say this thing, like, when you fight or you train or spar in like a fasted state, you're actually a better fighter. You're more hungry. Obviously, hungry is the actual word. Hungry for kind of that thing. I can imagine on the battlefield, no like malnutrition, like starving yourself, but just like less comfort in your stomach. It's a really, really good positive thing. And then with Islam, obviously, you do Ramadan for 30 consecutive days, dry fasted from the sun up to the sundown. And this is one of the reasons that I never followed Islam. I believed in it, but I never practiced it. Because when Ramadan came and I hadn't had a support system, being a 30-year-old guy trying it for the first time, I failed. I failed a few times. It was too hard for me. Really hard. Like, I can do it now, but it's super hard, especially not being grown up with the experience of it. And in prison, obviously the Prophet Muhammad fasted and these kind of set things. I think it was like Monday and Thursday, dry fasted. And to be like more spiritual aligned, all the guys were praying, because the only guys that were praying in prison were the Muslims, and obviously I was a Muslim. I resonated with that and wanted to learn Arabic, and that it was good. It was great. So we got on this thing that we're training every day. I'm talking about, I got up to like fucking 180 kilo deadlift and really, really solid, really running and all that. And I was doing that dry fasting every Monday and Thursday. Running, sparring with no food, no water. For me, like, fasting is the number one. It's not just an Islamic thing. It isn't given as much importance. I think more people need to speak about that. I lost like 7 kilo because I started lifting weights after my last fight because I was a bantamweight. I wanted to get bigger and stronger. And I got asked to fight in my original weight, flyweight, which is 4 kilos lighter. So I was like 74 kilo when this got asked. And I got myself down to like 67 recently by eating a carnivore and keto diet, and a lot of fasting, regular fasting. And I think more people, I know enough about it to help people with and coach it, because I do it's part of my program. Like at least one day of water fasting, and then I try and progress into like a day of like a sun up to sundown of dry fasting. And it strengthens your ability to give away the comforts and the temptations.
100%.
That's what's really good about it. Because if you've got like addictions or you're addicted to food or whatever, see if you can spend that wee day of like, right, I'm really good through this. Then you're grateful. As soon as you drink that first drink of water, if you dry fast is all days hard. In Ramadan, you drink that first drink of water and then you have your food.
Yep.
It feels like the best meal in the world. It could be a fucking cheese sandwich, but it feels like a Michelin stars chefs just came in your house and made it for you. Like, that's maybe tied to gratitude to God, and awareness of gratitude for the things that we take for granted.
Yeah. Well, I started training Muay Thai
is a sin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the 7 deadly sins. I started training Muay Thai for a few years, like 2-3 years-ish. And I was like, the year I was planning to have my first fight, I was trying to get as lean as I fucking could. So fasting like 20 hours a day, basically all that shit. Got so lean. But what I got from that also was the discipline and not having the urges for the dopamine hits, whether it was in the food or the scrolling and stuff. It was like my desire for like getting these fucking dopamine cravings like went down when I was fasting more. And so it gave me definitely more mental discipline and less emotional volatility when it came to wanting those pleasures. Like the desire for pleasure was less. I was more just in this fucking state of like, I'm fighting in like 3 months. Like XYZ, I didn't get to fight. That's a little story. But yeah, fasting's fucking mental. Fasting is a fucking life changer, man.
To speak to anyone though that is wanting to build muscle, fasting will not help you build muscle. So like that's where the conflict in mine has been coming in. So see when you say you feel more mentally clear when you're fasting, it's because your micro gut biome, I think there's billions of little fucking bugs and pretty much bug-like creatures, bacteria inside your micro gut biome, and they're responsible for your mood, your energy levels, anxiety, all these kind of things. So have you ever ate like a really horrible meal and you feel a bit anxious and stressed out?
Yeah, terrible.
It's because your gut and your micro gut biome is just all fucked up, and it's because you're eating shit. And that's when people fast, they feel mentally clear, they feel more connected, they can connect to God more, the clarity's there, not got brain fog, they feel they've got more energy, they're not anxious, these kind of things, because they've got nothing interrupting those little bugs that are responsible for your energy, your mood, and your kind of your brain, right? But as a skinny cunt that wants to build muscle and get bigger, it conflicts with that. You do need to eat regularly. You do need to eat in a surplus. What I would say to people that are in a position like me, skinny, want to get bigger, just like if you can, you can still fast maybe once a day, or maybe like a few hours in a day. You can give your, or like wait a few hours after you wake up, so you're not just giving your body food straight away. But you're probably gonna need to sacrifice like a good few years of building muscle and being in a surplus and gaining, having a bit of a shitty arse and feeling a bit more bloated than most people would if you could fast. But this is my plan anyway, if anyone wants to kind of take inspiration from it, but my plan is to sacrifice that, fast here and there. I fasted today because we've had a podcast and I like fasting before talking, but kind of accept that you will need to you won't be able to fast if you want to build muscle and actually get bigger. And then at some point, you'll probably get to a weight you're happy with. So for me, it's going to 80 kg, get to
It's
that point.
against what you want to do. And
It's your
the
goals.
goal
It's
is
all in your
different, aye.
goals.
So,
But
this is, I don't
fasting is really good, but people think like, oh, fasting's really good, but I can't do it because I need to get bigger.
Aye.
Well, you can't do it because you need to get bigger.
Well,
It's like,
it makes
accept
sense if you're want to strip up fasting. Without the kind of, if you're only talking a physical level there, if you want to strip, it'd be fast because I'm a fighter now. I need to strip weight. Since I was like 25, I think my metabolism slowed right down. Like if I think about a fucking chocolate bar, I put on weight. I put on weight really, really easily,
Yeah.
and it doesn't. I can lift, like get in good size because I'm short, but it just doesn't look. I look like the wee Hulk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started like I'm like half junk food. I don't eat shit. I don't eat shit at all because of that gut biome thing. I feel terrible.
Yep.
I kind of dieted for this fight here that never materialised, and then I was stressed and annoyed, so I went and bought a pizza, and I ate half a pizza, fucking quarter the pizza, and just was like, fuck this. And I felt terrible the next day. It's because my body's maybe so clean with nice food, natural food, like, it affected me bad. But what is your opinion on like ketogenic diets and carnivore diets and stuff like that?
For your
So
gut microbiome, amazing. But it's like, depending on your goal, will depend on, like, obviously, like scientifically, carnivore diets, all this kind of stuff. I would say depending on your age. Like if you're an older guy, 40, 50, do you want to jump on a carnivore diet and strip fat but then muscle? That will be a lot harder to gain when you're older.
Do you lose
Like,
muscle as well, though, on it?
oh, there's a level of like caloric deficit that you're probably going to be in that you'll
Right.
maybe start
Don't
strip.
need
Do you
to
know
be
what I mean?
no. So you need to be careful when you're talking about this unless you really know what you're
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
don't fully know, but like
'Cause
you
that's
could be on a
why-
carnivore diet and be in a surplus and not lose any muscle. But it's like, how much red meat are you eating? Is it actually that like
Healthy.
too much red meat's quite? There's a lot of inflammation within that. Like there's so much to be said
But
about
when
it.
you add the red meat with carbs, I think, does the glucose not stick the red meat to your
See,
your,
I don't.
your
You
things
know
and
more
that?
than me.
So
But
just my opinion on it, right? Like, because you
Well,
need.
you asked me and you're fucking giving a reply.
Go say
and
that,
you're
mate.
fucking
Talk
hard
then.
reply.
On you go, bro.
If you're an old man with saggy balls, eat a carnivore diet.
we'll talk
What
then,
the
you
fuck is that,
fucking
bro?
dick. Go say that, Mr. Scientist.
So no, it's not Mr. Scientist.
Fucking prick.
Brian was kind of asking. I'm pretty sure you were asking like when you're trying to get leaner and cut fat. And
No, sorry. I'll go into that in a wee bit of detail. But what are your guys' opinions on it? That's a
Right.
great opinion. What's your opinions on ketogenic and carnivore?
I feel like whatever your body feels good, because I think the most, I think the widest, the most healthiest diet is the Mediterranean diet. I think that's like
Right,
based on studies.
An experience that
It's
we're
the most
living in.
diverse diet. It's got the most like things in it that's going to help your gut biome. So the Mediterranean diet is, I think, classed as the healthiest diet. If you don't feel good eating that, don't fucking eat it. I think it's very individual. If you're trying to lose weight and you cut all your carbs, the only reason you're going to lose muscle is if you're in a huge deficit. Because if it's not, your body doesn't have carbs to feed on or energy to feed on, the next place it will go to fat, but then the next place it will go to is protein, and that is obviously the muscles that you've got in your body. So if you're overcompensating by having a really high protein diet, you're eating excess protein in a diet as you're in a bit of a deficit, your body will have that protein to burn and not tap into the muscle stores that you've got in your body.
Right, interesting.
But you said as well that like, oh, I fasted this morning. It's like
I'll compensate today by eating hunters.
not eating like between meals is like not fat. Like I would say fasting is the state of your body gets into. So a ketogenic diet, like there's a level of a state of ketosis that your body gets into.
A fastest
Starts
state
to like burn fat and all that. What?
a fastest state when you've not ate. So I've shat out all the food that I ate yesterday. I've not ate for the last like 16 hours. That's fasting. I'm fasting.
16
Intermittent
hours.
fasting.
Well,
Intermittent
but
fasting.
it's still like a fastest state is when you're not.
when you get past a
I'm
certain
also
point
in
of
that-
not
I'm
eating.
also in that stage just now.
Yeah.
So like what I said is I put on weight really easily after the age of 25, and I think I'm super like sensitive to carbs. So there's this thing that I wrestle, like high intensity wrestling, right? And I do it fasted. And people say to me, right, you need carbs then, you need to reload with carbs after. And I do eat like small carbs just now, but I've been kind of focusing on like I'd call it more ketogenic diet, but more carnivore. I'm eating a lot of red meat, a lot of eggs. And I swear, guys, I mean, I look the best shape of my life, feel the best shape of my life, and the carbs thing hasn't really affected me. I'm taking dates, some watermelon, blueberries are low calorie carbs, a tiny bit of honey now and again, but I feel like fucking Superman now.
Yeah.
Whereas after my fight, so you can imagine I'm sitting in prison with fucking shit food, and I was trying to do this carnivore thing in prison. I was getting tins of sardines, olives, what else was I getting? That's basically it. You're fucking struggling in jail for that. My sauces, maybe a bit of peanut butter. But I lost a lot of weight and I came out and I was in great shape. And then obviously like, I was in a fight camp right away, so I kept the weight off and it was good. As soon as like the fight that PFL was done, I was like, starting to enjoy food because I love food and all that. I was eating out and missed all the stuff here and that, meeting up with friends. Boom, went like that. I was lifting weights as well, but I think carbs for
They
me,
do. Fuck you.
no carbs are the devil, but I can survive on less carbs and I can do those high intensity wrestling. I train for about 4 or 5 hours a day, every day, and I'm not really eating a lot of carbs for it. It's quite mad. It goes against what a lot of people are telling me.
Yeah, there's these kind of societal views that high carb diets to feel good when you're training, but it's because when you train at high intensity, your body uses carbohydrates. Like actually, that is the source of
Fast
energy. It
sources.
doesn't mean that your body cannot turn other energy sources into carbs, into glycogen, into glucose. But generally, like if, for example, if you ask any athlete on the planet before they go into a game, they're gonna have some fast acting carbs, like 90% and 95%.
When I compete, I will, obviously.
So why?
That's quite funny that, but no. But funny enough, because I'm trying to lose weight,
Yeah,
and when I eat the carbs,
yeah,
I'm still losing the weight because I had to lose weight. I have to get the weight off,
Mhm.
but I still feel better
yeah.
because when
yeah.
I take the carbs, like I'm not going to go and eat a pizza and pasta and that. I'll eat like dates and that stuff I've been eating. That's
Yeah,
natural.
small amounts, small quantities.
Small amounts, but good, high quality, nutritionally dense foods, which I think beef is great for that. Eggs is fantastic for that.
Yeah.
And butter, I don't cook in, I don't eat vegetable oils, I cook in butter. I put butter in my coffee. I put butter in this Lion's Mane coffee that I make. Just put it there and I'm fucking high as a kite. I could go all day.
Yeah.
And maybe some people are more sensitive to carbs than less. Like I've got a cousin that fights, he's about your age, super athletic guy, and he eats like 2,000, 3,000 calories per day, and he loses weight, and he's eating all carbs and stuff like that.
Crazy.
Same. That's me, bro.
But he's got a high metabolism, whereas I don't. If I had that same diet, I'd be fucking
You're blown up.
15 kilo more than my arm.
Yeah. Carbs, it's definitely something you could, like, your body uses that when it's in high intensity exercise, so 100%. But the reason why you probably feel better when you're training and you have low carbs is because all the carbs are getting used for energy.
Right.
When there's an excess, that's when you've got this fucking heavy gut and you feel fucking slow and lethargic. Whereas when you're having lower carbs and higher fats, your body's using all of that, and your body taps into, it's like the kind of balances like 80% fat stores and 20% carbs when you're at rest. So us sitting in this podcast today, how fast our heart's been beating in the state that we're in, our body's feeding on fat. But because we've all got a decent amount of muscle's an active tissue that needs calories to stay there at rest, it needs something. So like it's probably, we're going to be feeding on fat right now, but if we sat for long enough and didn't use our muscles and didn't feed it with protein, we'd just sit and fucking waste away because muscles need, because they're an active tissue, muscles need calories to sustain and stay there, whereas fat doesn't. Fat is like the primary source of energy, and fat isn't an active
Fat's the
tissue.
primary source of energy?
When you're at rest.
Right, okay. Right,
But like when you're like fucking sprinting, it's carbs.
right, okay, I
But
understand.
like fat at rest is the how your body, like the fat burn zone's like between 120 and 130 BPM. Like if you're doing that on a kind of machine, and that's the kind of low. If you've done like a big steady run, that's like less. It's like the low intensity steady state cardio. That's like when your body's really tapping into fat stores. And then obviously you've got the HIIT training, the high intensity interval training. That is all the carbs, and that's like your body will tap into.
You need
more
that
carbs.
explosivity.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel like we're just barely scratching the surface, so probably have a few more podcasts. But one thing I wanted to ask about, I love tapping into different experiences that people have, and you've had a few fucking mental ones. Within the span of a year, you sparred Conor McGregor and you sparred Andrew Tate. So being around people like that, even if you kind of tap into some individual experiences that you could look back on right now, that you've maybe learned something being around these people, like start with Conor, for example, Conor McGregor. Is there anything being around him or the people around him that you've learned, or any wisdom taken?
I'm an open book, so I've met a lot of people in my life, which I'm really grateful for it. In fact, I've got a great network all over the world because I've lived in so many countries, like for fucking multi-million-pound crypto gurus to like Conor McGregor that I met and stuff like that. Conor, I learned that mentality, mindset that he's got is something to behold, especially when you're in his presence. Like he just conducted everything and controlled everything. It kind of ran his own sessions, and that was quite awkward. But I had a wee spar with him.
You don't need to go specifics, but like, how did the spar go?
Oh, he's a world champion. I had a really good account of myself. I was a fat wee fucking 34-year-old retired fighter that get invited to this fight camp and he's fighting for a world title fight. But I had a wee spar with him, a wee knock, a lot heavier than me that, and done good. My boxing was really good against him. And then he took me, I tried to take him down, obviously thinking, fuck, I'm going to take this cunt down, but I never done it. And then I was a bit annoyed at myself that I wasn't like, in super shape, but he never leered me and I never leered him. Funny enough, we went to the spa. His friend is my friend. He runs this gym in Portugal and he asked us to do it because it was like COVID and there was no
Was
fight
it Colin?
camps. Colin Byrne. Amazing guy. Super cool guy. He's like always in Connor's corners and that. So anyway, we're doing the spa and Connor's dead agitated because people weren't coming in and out in quick enough time. But what he said was, I think they said, we're going to run. So I've just took my running gear and then he's like, no, we're sparring now. So I've had to try and grab gloves and that. So I've grabbed the shit, went in and done the spa. And fucking, I'm like, here's Conor McGregor, fuck it. Boom, boom, threw a few shots to him. And the other people who was watching went, whoa, just calm the sparring down a wee bit. Conor McGregor went, no, fuck it, let him go. As if let him go have a knock. And two had a good wee shout, a good wee tussle. He was a cool guy. Like, I ended up at the end of it, we went for food. I bought all the meal for everybody and that was quite a good experience. And just spoke to him about Scotland and fighting and that. And it was really, really, really cool, man. He was like, he's right into boxing and we're boxers. He was talking about like people I trained with. My little brother was like as a fantastic boxer. Southpaw, same dimensions as Manny Pacquiao. So he was going to get Conor to do the Manny Pacquiao fight and maybe bring him on the team. Never materialised the fight. But one instance, this was quite mad. He's like fucking barged into me. McGregor did. Like, see that shoulder barge he did when you're fucking 12? I don't know what he done it
Just
for.
walking past them.
I just done it to fucking assert his dominance. And I started laughing like, fuck you doing?
Where was this? When was this? What?
Doing like a boxing kind of session. I don't know if he meant it. I don't know. I'm taking it the wrong way, but he kind of knocked into me a wee bit. I think it was just his kind of
Ego,
mindset.
yeah.
He probably does it with people. And he had like a wee pal that's like a photographer. And I just walked in, obviously unfit, being a professional fighter, but you know what I mean? And the wee guy's like, I am flyweight, fought in the world title championships and that. I was like, alright, cool, get a gloves on then. And fucking gave him his dinner. So I don't know if maybe they knew that or something. But to be honest with you, nice guys, man. It was cool. We had a good talk on it. And I liked that he'd done that with me because it shows how he really is.
But what, like, just instantly what happened after? He just laughed and then...
Just laughed my head off. Just fucking started laughing. Like, what the fuck?
Was he laughing or was he like...
No, I don't know if he's meant it or something. Maybe just annoyed or something. Maybe annoyed at me. I don't know. Maybe I'm taking it wrong. Maybe that's just off fabrication in my mind. But it did happen. But after it we spoke and it was all cool and he was brand new and he's a cool guy, man. He's a cool guy. I really like him, man, to be honest with you. And so I ended up part of this kind of organisation and I done a few like courses on how to be like a course protection officer like, through this thing. I kind of done it through a course with the people that invited me in it. A guy in it that taught me how to do it. And he was going to Marbella. So I was kind of in Portugal, but hanging about with Luke on that and stuff like that. So big Luke, I was kind of working with Luke at the time, like doing coaching and that with him. And he actually got me started in doing PTing.
Yeah.
I'd been a professional fighter, but never bothered being a PT. And there's some guys that fucking watch Rocky ones and think they're multi-champion, like, great coaches. Yeah. So anyway, he said to me, Tate's coming and Tristan's coming to Marbella. We're going to have like party and all, it's going to be cool. Big Luke said this. And he says, I'm looking for like security. And I know I'm like a wee fucking guy in stature and that, but I says to him, I've done a course in security, can I do that? He's like, I'll ask him. And Tate went, that's a great idea. Because I'd met Tate before in Ukraine. I'd done like a course in Ukraine, he was there.
Why was he there?
Just, I don't know, maybe just that his friend was there and stuff. I don't know, he wasn't doing the course or anything like that, but just, I'd met him anyway. So the bodyguarding was mad. So people pay like 50 grand to go and have dinner with Conor McGregor, maybe more now. And this is at 2022, just as he was going up in kind of like fame, just right on the cusp of it, when he was in Marbella. Tate. This is just on the cusp of him getting in his fame at 2022. So you can imagine, I'm like his bodyguard or his mate and we're sparring and hanging about and I'm in a car with him fucking all day, going for food with him, going to nightclubs and all day and just drawing in a lot of attention off him, a lot. And he was actually talking to me, he was actually asking me things and that. But he did say this, he says to me, like, obviously I was up to daft things and he says to me, what are you up to, Brian? As if that's my opportunity to kind of maybe give my networking thing. And I went, because I can't tell. And he's went, a little bit this and a little bit that. And I says, aye, mate. And he says, don't worry about it. I kind of fucked up a wee bit, but he saved it. So what I will say about Tate is he's a really, really intelligent guy. like one of the most intelligent guys that I've actually had the chance to have a really good conversation with, and you can see it in how he conducts himself and that. But he's like that CEO and cleaner guy. He gives everybody the same respect, which is really cool. And what I really liked about him is like he's got this organisation that people pay to go in the organisation, like super top achievers and stuff like that. Do you know who he brought to Marbella with him? His two pals from back in the day. One was a plumber and one was a fucking party wreck kid, and they're just hanging about with us.
Was it a little black guy?
He's like a construction guy or something, like a
That's
plumber or
mad.
something,
Yeah,
or
that's
electrician or
crazy.
something like that. And his other pal, kind of mad guy, just his pal. But that for me speaks volumes, man. For me. So I was expecting like a wage for like 2 or 3 days. I ended up doing like fucking 5 days or 4 days, one extra day, and he gave me like 5 times what I was meant to get. It was a really good lump of money, because the first one was a lump of money, this was a really good lump of money.
Yeah.
And I like being part of that organisation and meeting the people in that organisation and even helping and coaching and making money through it has been amazing for me. Unfortunately, at the time, I was going through a lot of bad shit. I was in Marbella and I was like drinking, and I just was a shadow of myself, man. I wasn't so networking again. I wasn't really giving a lot out, but I was reading a lot of information. I've met like thousands of guys. I've sparred them all. I'm kind of like a fight kind of coach, shooter them a wee bit, if you understand. Do like training and that.
Yep.
And although I wasn't in a good position myself, I learned a lot. I've got so much respect from them all. Like, because they were in Marbella and I was in prison in Malaga, they were coming to visit me in jail.
Who?
The guys for that group.
Oh, really?
Some of them, you probably know them on Instagram and all that, they were giving my wife money for lawyers and that.
That's crazy.
It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. Like, I don't really like to talk about it too much in depth because it is a kind of closed private network and stuff like that, but I can highly recommend anybody following Tate's stuff to see what that is about, the War Room. It is a great thing. It is a great thing. And it's not just like a money thing and we all get together and talk money and spend money. It's gave me lifelong friends. I was with a few of them in Manchester the other day, just went down and like got together, and it wasn't like a meal, we had like a kind of business talk, and it was all about like the guys in Manchester and Scotland that were going to get together more and like be together.
Yeah.
And the guys in Scotland were all like, we meet up regularly, they all came to my fight, some of them met my wife, like my kids, like what he's created in that is fantastic. It's like a online organisation that the real values in real life.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I really liked it.
The brotherhood that you see from Andrew and Tristan Tate, it's well, I first came across Andrew Tate before I even knew, like, he was actually on James English podcast, and James English called him a pimp. And I was like, that was what the label was. And then I got into his YouTube channel, all these vlogs, and started to see how close him and Tristan were. They live in the same house,
Yeah.
all that kind of shit. And
I see a correlation between you two guys and Tristan and that. I said that to you. Like, two successful brothers, they've got their back, got each other's back, which is a brotherhood's one of the most essential things in the world. Where are we without our brothers? And not a lot of people have that because they've got envy and jealousy and evil eye and whatever. You two guys have got it on like a blood level. Me and my brother's got it on a blood level, even though we're in different countries. He's like my closest human being to me, because he's closest genetic human being to me. He's a male with the same DNA. And like, we've got us, I don't know if you guys probably got more at Mel, but like I can think about him and not speak to him for weeks, and then as soon as I'm thinking about him, he calls me.
yeah, some
Yeah.
shit
It's
happens.
mad. There's a mad connectivity to me and my brother.
Well, have you heard of quantum entanglement?
Something like that. Something deep like that. Like
So it is.
sometimes we're sitting like in company, and although we're rough Scottish Glaswegian accents, it's as if we even speak in a certain way that even Glaswegians wouldn't understand. We've got a really good close connectivity. So like the War Room Brotherhood's fantastic and our party and stuff like that, but I'm also trying to create my own kind of brotherhood on my kind of values as well. That's what my plans are for the future, is to create my own, not a war room, but my own organised like brotherhood, basically.
Yeah,
My own
yeah.
organised brotherhood with people that resonate with me, and not just about money, like also about faith and also about family and also about like just helping each other.
Yep.
Like I'm one of the guys, and I've always been one of the guys all my life, that if you're my friend and you're my friend and I know you're my friend, you can phone me at 5 a.m. and say, Brian, there's like fucking 20 guys outside my house. I need somebody, and I'll be there. And I've got friends as well. Like I've got a really, really close network of friends. And I think it's a testament of how good a person I am. Like I've got mates that I could phone again. Like, mate, I'm in fucking Africa. I need you to come here with money and fucking do this and do this. They would
Yep.
do it in a heartbeat. And I think that's a good testament to how I conduct myself in life.
That's it, man.
Well, the future that we've got planned is also to create a brotherhood, a community of guys as well. Obviously, like we said earlier, like bring your wives, bring your girlfriends and things like that. But it's essentially bringing guys together on the same kind of level, because one of the things I said to you in the voice note, like what second voice note and actually ever speaking to you, was the thing I appreciate about you on a deep level is how authentic you are, real, recognize real. You don't look at accents, you don't look at age, you don't look at these kind of things. You just look at real, like authenticity. You recognize it. Do you know what I mean? I think the way that we're doing it as well, there's a lot of people feeding into our pendulum, like we spoke about earlier in the podcast, in a negative way because they're insecure, they envy, whatever it is. But then there's the real ones that go, fucking, I love what they're doing. I want to be a part of it. I love those guys. Don't care if some of the shit they put up I wouldn't do myself, but I respect it and I appreciate it. That's the kind of guys that we're wanting to build. And I've got in my big vision with Gio. Gio's like, why only a million, right? But I want, well, and more life will change a million lives. Like, that is the kind of vision that I've got. 1 million people will be impacted by more life. And Gio's like, why only a million? I was like, cool, we'll go bigger. But the million is like, it's quite a cool number just to throw out
million
there.
followers.
No, a million lives will be impacted by more life. So like the reach you can have, you can get millions of views, and then millions of those views can make someone think in a different way.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not just twisting it into like, oh, they think that, but if they see a bit of my content and it changes their life and how they think and how they feel and how they act, and they create a different reality off the back of it, it's part of the million people.
Beautiful. And that is what social media is for.
Actually,
Like, a lot of people just doom scroll and consume. Consumption is an agent of the devil. Because this is going to go deep as well, right? Let me try and articulate this as much as I can. We come from the creative energy source, and that's good energy. And we have to also replicate that and create and give to the world. We've all got a story, and we can all change the world in a small, tiny part. So we should be creating, not just on social media, but we should also create and also give the world our story. Because it doesn't matter what you do in your life, it doesn't matter what job you've done or where your standing is. The world needs to hear your story. And it's an absolute tragedy if you don't give the world your story. Seems somebody said that to me, it really made me really think about what I'm doing in my life. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard talking on Instagram. I'm good at it now, or on social media. I didn't even really think I was a good speaker. People think I'm a good speaker now, but I used to be really shy of the way I spoke. And well, I'm fluent in Spanish and I'm fluent in Portuguese, and I can kind of tie in certain phrases in English now for different languages. I think it maybe enhances my ability to speak. My kids are also fluent in Portuguese. One of them speaks Spanish as well. So I think, like, for years I was just negative, man. Didn't believe in myself, believe in the things I speak about. But like you guys at 24, I was reading these books. I wasn't in this the kind of standing you were on, like a social level, but in standing in other businesses, I was like a good standing. But maybe in the wrong kind of type of environment.
For sure.
And no seeing growth. No seeing my future and potential growth. That's why I'm asking that at that young. You guys are young to me, sorry. At that young age, you guys are doing something that I respect as a guy older than you, because you're doing what I'm trying to do on your own level, and you have got maybe even a younger generation than me. You're tapping into that younger generation. Because I won't really tap into that as much. I'll tap into the ones my age, and you're helping them. So let people hate or whatever. Those that mind don't matter. Whereas those that matter don't mind. And that's important, because the people that fucking want to sit and mind about you and say this, they're insignificant. But those that really truly matter, the people that will be changed by you and followed by you, and your family and friends and me as well, we kind of matter, because we see what's happening and I appreciate it and love it. And same as myself, like, I want to do the same thing, create a brotherhood, create mentally fortified human individuals that follow faith and focus on family and focus on fighting, not just fighting physically, combat fighting, but the fitness level, the mindset level, the healthy level, the nutrition level and stuff like that. So more life, what is, can you break down what the principles is on that for me just now?
We broke more life down into, like, more life is almost an acronym for all the things, all the principles, all the pillars almost.
That was done
that I can't, I fucking can't remember off the top of my head.
But again, the main principles, again, is just, for me anyway, the coaching that I do is, when you say win the game of life, it is just getting that perfect balance and being the most authentic version of yourself. And the point that I always make to my clients is, we all can have that. Like, we can all have the perfect balance. Humans were designed and brought into this planet by whatever you want to say in whatever way. We were made to evolve. We were made to have the balance. We were made to have all the money we want. We weren't made to have scarcity. We weren't made to be poor. That wasn't how humans were brought into and created on this planet. But because there has been elites, there's been people that higher powers, there've been people that have retrained society and made us believe certain things. It's now normal for people to be poor, but the kind of meaning of more life is to get that perfect balance and really live in alignment with your true, authentic self and have the balance that is health, wealth, peace, happiness, joy, and complete unconditional love.
So you're helping people get all these sigils together so that you said happiness, they'll have happiness and fulfillment in their life, and also authenticity. So you're teaching that. So that's the end goal of what you're teaching, happiness and authenticity.
That's
beautiful. That's beautiful, man. I really, really, really rate that, man.
Because us being in the health industry as well, it's like me specifically, my work, I help people heal and actually give them physically more life. Like if someone was to come to me every week or every month for 20 years versus someone that didn't, and it was the same human, like I would actually extend the lifespan of their physical ability through the work that I do as well. So it's actually giving people more out of life, giving people more life, like literally as well. And then spiritually through the work that we're evolving into, we're starting to give people more life in a spiritual sense as well. But literally, we're giving people more life because Kale's helping people's mental and physical state get better, adopting better principles and habits to actually live a longer, more fulfilling life, actually get more from life. So
that's amazing.
That is it. And I feel like the message will become clearer the more that we evolve and develop ourselves.
What is the program? Is it like a one-on-one online basis, or is it like a course that you do, or what is it like?
Joint services. We're going to join together and really create a package and experience for people. But right now, like I am just the healer, the guy that people come to restore the state of their body and really kind of extend their lifespan when it comes to performance and recovery. And Kyle he's a mind coach, man. He's he's creating people's realities with them and for them.
That's
they're creating their own reality, but he's just giving them the fucking tools.
We're also early. This is fucking early. It's like we're not complete in any way. We're fucking at 1% of 100%.
We're still kids.
Like, it seems to a lot of people in our local area or people in our family, like, oh, you've done really well. So we've fucking done nothing. Like we're actually 1% of 100 at the moment. So what we've got right now is a grain of sand compared to what we're going to have in the next 10 years.
Nice.
So the way that we're doing things right now, I'm on more of a kind of one-to-one online basis. Jack's one-to-one in person. But I'm going to have a team of coaches. I'm going to have like tens of coaches under the brand of More Life.
Yep.
If I want to change 1 million lives, can't do that my fucking self. I need teams of guys that are going to preach the fitness stuff, preach the mindset stuff, help people get that perfect balance. And it's going to be a huge brand. Like that's the kind of the goal. But yeah, to ask us right now, what is it you do right now? It's not insignificant to tell you, but I would say comparison to the bigger picture, even in a year's time or 2 years' time, where it's going to be, you're not going to recognise where we're at now. And I just know that because it's the process of what we're doing. Like where I've came from waiting in a toilet before I fucking went to college to where I am now, there's a much bigger gap between that little guy and me now to where I'm going, right? But it's still such a huge difference in what it looks like and how many people are going to be affecting.
In terms of like shorter range then, for this next quarter, what are your goals and aspirations so I can keep you accountable for them?
Okay, good. I could probably give you more detail because I've got metrics and obviously I do my mentors.
Just on a base level that we can have a conversation about.
So I look to bring on 1 or 2 coaches, at least one, but 1 or 2 coaches to then take over the kind of fitness side of my business. And then I will be transitioning more into working with guys one-to-one to, you could say, unlock their mind. But again, like if you understand what really holds people back is their paradigms, it's their belief system. Someone that's making, say, multiple 6 figures and wants to get to 7 figures but just can't, they're trying everything they can. It's the same thing that would have to get fixed with someone that's trying to make 10K from being stuck at 5K. It's the same thing. It's a belief in their system. So what I look to do is transition into working with higher paying clients, because obviously the higher they earn, the more you can pay, the more your time is paid, which is obviously ideal in a business sense. But transition into working with guys that are kind of stuck at maybe 6 figures, want to get to 7 figures, or 100K, want to get to 500K, these kind of things. And that's the kind of the transitional role that I'll go into. More of a kind of esoteric coach, you could say, nice, like that. And it's all about the unseen and the consciousness and stuff like that. Cool. But like the way I deliver it isn't lofty. It's very like applicable, and you can extrapolate it to your real life and stuff.
It's talking to you, I can understand that. So you're going to go for delegation for helping you with the coaching, and expansion on the customer base, like a different customer base, entrepreneurs and businessmen, high net worth individuals.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What's you got for the next quarter?
Next quarter, in terms of like the next 3 months, I will have over 500 people. I've just launched an app, More Life Maintenance app.
Oh, nice.
This is all about like creating knowledge, accountability, and convenience in people's lives when it comes to just mobility and recovery. So everything from mobility and stretching to breath work to perfecting your morning and bedtime routine to just creating a system in your life when it comes to recovery. So I'll have over 500 people on that,
1,000.
over 1,000 people on that, and really building towards the end of the year I'm going to be launching a clinic. I've already got 3 therapists lined up that want to join the team and expand. So it's about building a fucking huge community of people that just want to optimize the recovery for longevity. That's what I see.
See, with your business, the whole thing would be like the health and hands-on health, the helping people and healing people. But do you have like, I can imagine you do. Do you have like goals to create like an info product on that, like information product that people can buy? For instance, like for athletes, what I get like stretch themselves or whatever.
100%. So like in a way, that's what the app will be there for.
Right.
I'm going to package it in a way that people can just see an ad, click the link, buy the app, log in. It's all there. It's all set out.
Right, sorry, I understand that.
And then if they want to become a client, we can start to personalize this experience and give them more hands-on kind of personalized work through the app. But no, you're right. I'm looking to create more kind of info products that I can sell, whether it be like a mobility package. I'm looking to, obviously, when I bring my therapists in, create fight camp packages for fighters that want to come in and get the hands-on work alongside like a package that includes mobility recovery. But yeah, that's a really good idea. But yeah, the app is kind of in a way that I'm just trying to really think of ways that I can add value to people's lives when it comes to health and recovery. And yeah, next quarter, the app is definitely that. What about you?
That's cool, man. That's really fucking, I know you've got to smash it. I'm going to keep you accountable though.
Just to add as well, I will always still be a part of the More Life kind of fitness side of things as well. So although I'll be working more one-to-one with the kind of higher paying clients and stuff, I'm not going to disappear from the current business, because obviously I think
of course,
I still need to be like on weekly calls and these kind of things and delivering to the guys that are not necessarily tapping into like high ticket one-to-one mentorship. Still, the More Life brand is to get guys living that perfect balance, and you can do that through different levels. Some people are just wanting to get into shape and find themselves at the moment, and then some people have found themselves and need to go to that next level. So it's going to accommodate every single fucking level of a guy in their life. That's what More Life is. Like, More Life isn't just I work with fat guys who want to get leaner. It's like every single guy and every single type of guy I believe can have that perfect balance. More Life will give you the option to have that perfect balance.
And you've covered like a good area, both these together, like a great massive area of self-development there.
Yep.
Like the two of them together, like, forms a very, very strong team.
Close
there.
to no
Really
holes
cool.
in it.
100%.
Yeah, that's really good. For me, I'm not really technical, like computers and stuff like that. So I've got a kid that made me a website, landing page. I'm going to funnel email marketing, so I'm getting as many emails as I can, creating a course and a community on school.
Nice.
So when I left prison, I'd done a great post. I'm going to repost it again, and I created a free Telegram group, which is kind of, was like on kind of the way the war room was run, because that's the way I know how to create an organisation, organised network. And it was class. I had like 530 people sign up within a few days. It was like a 30-day discipline challenge, and they all kind of stayed. And then the work was great. I'm actually some friends with some of the guys I know, and it's still class. But I think I didn't monetize it, or the monetization wasn't good for who I attracted to it. A lot of them were just like tire kickers that didn't really want to.
Yeah.
They wanted the free service, and then they just fucked off, which I want to try and kind of negate that the next time. But I also want to like, get like a more fulfilling brotherhood in this. So I think schools might be a great platform for it, so you can do courses and that, and there's
For
like
sure.
certain games that you can do to make sure he's progressing properly and stuff like that. And I get more on the content. I want to 10x my content. I want to 10x my social media followings. So you see me with my wee camera now. I'm going to do some stuff for you guys later on. I'm going to do like a YouTube kind of stuff more. And I'm at 15,000 followers on Instagram. I think I was like 3,000 when I left prison. So that was like last May. I want to get 10x that by the end of the year.
Nice.
And I want to 10x my online coaching business by 10x by the end of the year. I'm doing okay with online coaching. It's good. I think these podcasts are helping me kind of tell what my message is a wee bit.
100%.
Because people just see me slagging bodybuilders and like training and stuff like that. I think it's just fight coaching, but it's so much more than that. It's just a small percentage. So obviously the more social media that I'm doing, I'm taking clips of all these podcasts and put them on my TikTok and stuff like that as well. So I 10x my social media and 10x my online business, create the organisation, the organised network. I keep saying that, then saying that. And also, as I said, these 2 fights, fighting in Australia, which I've never even been to Australia, and fighting Cage Warriors. And then after fighting, I don't want to go too further than that because I want to see how I enjoy them.
Yeah.
And that's business and that's sport level.
It's already done, man. That's already done.
I know. And on another level, I want to marry my wife. Actually get a good life for my wife. Make it honest and all right, you know. So my kids can see it and have a good wee day. No, not a big fucking extravagant wedding at a castle or anything like that. Just something beautiful for her and give her. It's obviously religiously as well. It's like a good thing to do it religiously. And I think I'm going to go to Dubai. I've lived in Dubai before. I'm going to go to Dubai. I've got a good network there for maybe doing hands-on coaching with a lot of people. I want to see how that pans out for me and stuff like that. But move there or no move there, I'll see how the future goes.
It's amazing, man. Well, I think that's been enough for this podcast. Nearly fucking 3 hours, and I generally feel that we could keep going for the next fucking
again,
10.
man.
Oh, we could. We got a wee steak and eggs in here, bro. I'd be going for
You
that
got one
10
to cook it
hours.
though.
There's a couple through there. But yeah, thank you for coming on, my man.